Yo, yo, what's going on? It is Two Broke Dads, episode 8. That is the Ocho. We are here, Two Broke Dads. And remember, when I say we are Two Broke Dads, I do not mean we are broke, but we are definitely broke, which means we are too broke to let you hold something. So please do not ask. It is 2018 and you need to get a job. Jesse, what's good, man?
Chilling, bro. Chilling at the crib. Feels good to have the crib to myself. My parents took my son out. Missed him for Father's Day. Is all good though, because he was in Vegas having fun with my nephew, my niece. If I could have taken the time off of work, I would have been there. And there's tragic news that happened 2 days ago that I want to get into it. Maybe you want to bring us into the story.
Oh, yeah, man, definitely. And, yo, I feel you on that missing Father's Day with your kid, but you got to remember you are a father every day, so do not let one day, take that away from you. But definitely, man, big R.I.P. goes out to XXXTentacion. Definitely tragic to lose such a young life. To lose any life, nobody deserves to go out like that. Also, R.I.P. to Jimmy Wapo as well. Another rapper, another young rapper who unfortunately was a victim of gun violence on that very same day. So I know, obviously, Triple X is the bigger star of the two, but it's still tragic to lose any life. So please keep the family of Jimmy Wapo in your thoughts and prayers. And also today, I know this isn't hip hop, but someone close to my heart growing up. Definitely R.I.P. to Vader, the wrestler, man.
The only reason why I chuckled is because I thought you were about to say a friend I didn't know about. But yes, you are absolutely right. Go.
Nah, definitely R.I.P. to Vader, man. Vader was always dope. I always thought it was dope when he was on Boy Meets World.
As
that
I
dude's
knew
father,
that.
man. So
Ethan, he played Ethan Suplee's father.
I know that's crazy because Vader was actually the first wrestling actor. No. You got to give Hulk Hogan his props.
Nah, Hogan, yeah.
But after Hulk Hogan, Vader was like out there on Boy Meets World. He was definitely hitting up on the sitcom. So R.I.P. to Vader.
The crazy part, I can't remember a Vader match. Do you have a favorite Vader match?
Nah, I don't have a favorite Vader match. I mean, I always like Vader the character though.
Yeah, I just knew the person. Yeah, it just hit me. Like, I don't remember like a big Vader match, but I mean, I love Vader.
He's definitely had plenty of title matches, and I mean, he's had. I mean, I don't think there was ever a time where Vader was like the headliner for WWE or WWF at that time, especially. But he's been in title fights. He's had the championship. He's been in Survivor Series, Royal Rumble. I mean, he's done it all. Definitely going to go down as a historic wrestler. If I'm thinking of one match with Vader, you got to remember though, Vader is an old school wrestler, so he's not going to be like, and he's not like Triple H or The Undertaker, who managed to continuously be in the WWE forever. But a huge match, I guess I want to say for Vader is going to be, I think he wrestled Ric Flair. Ric Flair is another amazing wrestler who, unfortunately,
lost his son.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was just thinking about how old Ric Flair was getting. I seen him in Amigos video. I've seen him on the news lately, and I'm just like, yo, Ric Flair's getting old, and it's a shame, man. We losing all our legends.
Yeah, and Triple X wasn't a legend, but
Oh nah, when I said legends, I was talking about wrestling legends. But yeah, we'll definitely bring it back to hip hop though.
Oh, okay. There's wrestling's got to be the worst sport.
I mean, I would say wrestling and football. Those are two like physically intensive sports that unless you're like taking care of your body, your career isn't lasting that long. And wrestling, especially, with all the stunts.
No, it's not only about that. A lot of them die young. Oh, I mean, was that your point? I'm sorry.
Oh well, I was just saying, it's not exactly. I was thinking more of the physical aspect of it and getting hurt. You know, think about Owen Hart. Think about how young Owen Hart was, and that was tragic. That was a death live on TV. Well, on pay
Well,
per view.
that was an accident. That's a little different than what I mean. Like we lost Roddy Piper, and I read all the wrestlers' books back in the day. Wait, you remember when the book trend started off? Mick Foley had the bestseller, and then everybody started writing their books. I read all of them because at that time I was a huge wrestling mark, if you want to call it, fan, whatever. Um, I read Jerry the King's book. What I respect about Jerry is that he never had a drink of alcohol in his life. That's dope. Um, Hogan outdrank Andre the Giant. If you want to see a sad documentary too, watch the Andre the Giant documentary. Uh, it. I showed it to my, and you don't even have to be a wrestling fan to watch Andre the Giant documentary. I showed it to my mom, and it's so heartbreaking, man. Um, but Roddy Piper said, we die at such a young age. The way basically the way they treat their body and how they respect it and stuff. Like he says, is one of the worst professions and stuff. And Piper died. We look, Big Boss Man. Wrestlers died left and remember Hardcore Holly, his little cousin Crash Holly died because he vomited on his own. He threw up when he was drunk and he was sleeping backside up, and he choked on his own vomit. Uh, the dead wrestlers after they give up wrestling, you got to read up on this, bro. It's crazy.
No, it's definitely a shame, man. Just seeing like growing up watching these dudes and then seeing them um, pass away. Either tragically or just like out of nowhere after their career kind of dies down. It's a shame because there's always those wrestlers who you may not see them for years and years and years, and they create a storyline to bring them back. And you look at like, man, imagine who they could bring back right now, and that person's gone. Like, I just remember. I mean, well, it wasn't too long ago, but you remember like Umaga, that he passed away. I was
Yeah.
thinking Rikishi, but Rikishi's still alive. It's Umaga passed away. I mean, so many of them. It's a shame, man.
Nah, yeah. I mean, wrestling. If anybody wants a fun read, read the Piper book. Like the Hogan book and the Rock book is more, fun style. How Hogan gets to brag a little, Rock even gets to brag a little. But if you want to read about like a hard life, read Piper's book. Like, and I think it's the same with act. I won't say wrestling. I'll say it's more in the entertainment business, where if you really have a hard-on pause for this business, like, and you're determined to make it, the competition is at all-time extreme. And if you don't make it, if you don't do what you love and stuff, the, I mean, the shit could bring suicidal thoughts on you, or like not even suicidal thoughts, just like, oh, this is how I'm going to end my life. Because some of these wrestlers earn $25 a night doing these shows. Same for boxing and stuff. I guess the same for football and every sport. Well, I'll say entertainment in general. I'll put it that way. I was just more remembering all the wrestlers that passed away that we don't even get acknowledged about on the media.
Nah, definitely, definitely. R.I.P. to Chris Benoit as well, man.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, man. It's a shame,
But
but you know what? Just kind of going into what, and the reason I said that, I didn't say that, like, I know it may come off as a joke, but when you're talking about how, suicidal
well,
thoughts and homicidal thoughts, like,
I think you used the wrong one because he killed his family on that one.
but going into mental health, like you were saying, suicidal thoughts, like, I'm sure where he was in
Right.
his mind state had a lot to do with why he did what he did. Now, granted, they've banished him from anything WWE and they don't speak his name, but I'm sure there was more to the story other than he was just upset and killed his family and everything. But
Well,
we could definitely, we can chip away at wrestling. And it's crazy because we just went from
I'll
saying
say this
R.I.P.
much, too.
to Vader, and then we got all the way, we got down a deep rabbit hole.
but hold on, now, let me say this much on Chris Benoit. The reason why he's not respected is if there's a baby involved, if you kill a baby, like there's no other. There was a boxer who did the same thing, and dude was fucking nice. I forgot who he was. He beat Antonio DeMarco. If it eliminates all the moms, and I don't mean that it's a bad thing either. The moms is a horrible thing, but when you really think about, yo, Gooch, save me on this one if I'm sounding bad. Save me, bro, because I'll tap out. Because I don't know how to say this without getting a bad feedback.
Nah, then I would, if it's gonna be problematic, then I would just leave it alone and let's just bounce back. R.I.P. to everybody, all these wrestlers who passed
No,
away.
I didn't mean to be problematic, but I'm just saying, like,
if you can't articulate it well, then I would leave
all
it.
right, put it this way. I'll do my best, and you tell me how I did. If Chris Benoit killed his wife only and left his son there, it would be fucked up, super fucked up. Which I can't. But the fact that he killed his son also, it's like an extra level of disgust. Yeah, okay? I'll say it like that.
I feel you. No, I agree. But, mental health is real, and unfortunately we don't know what was going through his head at the time. What he did was disgusting, but I'll leave it on that. I'll leave it on that note. R.I.P. to Vader, because I know that's where we got started. But rewind back a few more steps. Triple X, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. You seen the videos? I think the crazy part about it is seeing the videos. Like, hearing that he passed away, hearing that he died, he got shot, is one thing. But then to see the video of his lifeless body in his car and knowing that, like, he's dead in the car and people are filming. Like, you saw one video. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, these people are savages, they're disgusting because they're just recording. And yeah, I agree. Recording it is disgusting. But there was a gentleman who actually, you could see him grabbing his arm to feel for a pulse. But what do you?
I saw that video.
What do you do though? Do you take him out of the car? Do you run to a hospital?
You call 911 instead of filming it and put it on the internet first.
Yeah, but that's the culture we're in now. That's this day and age where everything goes on the internet. Everything you see and do goes on the internet. So I wasn't expecting to see it. It wasn't as gory as you may think, but it is still very chilling just to see his lifeless body just laying in his car, considering you've seen him very explosive and jumping around and articulating himself in videos through social media or in his music videos, and then to see him just drained of all his life was chilling, and it was upsetting, and it's sad and it sucks.
Yeah, I never heard of him. I've heard of him,
and I listened to the last album, like the Question Mark album. Like, I listened to a few of the songs on the first project, maybe not the first project he did, but the previous project before the Question Mark one. So, so I heard that track "Look at Me" because a video came out where he he lynched the young white kid in the video. So that was, that was a viral moment, and that's when I kind of got a taste of what he was doing. And then I heard a track with him and Kodak Black, both of them being from Florida. So I think I was down in Miami working, and I heard this song. I was like, oh, this song's not that bad. And then when the Question Mark album came out, I listened to part of that, and then of course the single kind of was the single Sad. That one kind of caught me. It's not the greatest song, but it's very catchy. I like the beat, and I've probably listened to maybe total 5 of his songs that he's ever been on. So I'm not saying I was a huge fan, and you don't have to be a huge fan to mourn the death of an entertainer or to know that what happened to this person is wrong. So
or to a 20-year-old in general, Look, I know he had, and it really does disgust me. People saying, "Oh, he beat up his pregnant girlfriend," and stuff. Well, first of all, she dropped the charges. If anything, that's on her. And he was trying to better himself, and I don't mean it like that. That's on her, because I know women are in abusive relationships. Men can be too, but I don't. I mean it as if it was really that. I don't look, all the allegations and stuff. Why is the point of conversation? And another thing that bothers me, and all right, I don't mean to just bring Tekashi up for no reason, Gooch. I really I know he's my new favorite and everything, but his apology on the whole video, I mean his whole apology on ending the beef stuff. Okay, actually, let me get 30 seconds on this subject, because I want to get out
reel
what
it in,
I feel.
because you're kind of all over the place right now.
Okay, so let me get 30 seconds on the subject, and then you could come in, or if that's okay with you. You know what I mean, though. All right, I don't like all the Facebook posts, the Twitter posts saying he had it coming, he invites violence and stuff. First of all, the dude just died. You got video footage of him dead. You think really now is when you should talk about him passing away? It's disrespectful, and the hugest amount. I could understand somebody like Charles Manson or somebody like that. Tekashi came out with a video saying, "Yo, this death kind of made me shaken up, and I want to end everything with everybody. I do too much trolling and stuff." And I thought he sounded mad grown up on that, and because him and Triple X were friends. And then everybody says, "Well, oh, this ain't the time to back down. You got to stand up. You got to stand up." So it was the fans and it's just back in the day when people used to say we didn't have no Tekashi. Back in the day, we had Pac. I mean, Pac's music and Tekashi, I'm not even debating. Of course, Pac was much better. But I'm saying it took the death of Pac and Biggie for East Coast and West Coast to come together. So we did have our own people acting reckless. And it's just that these fans saying, "Oh, you bring negative energy and stuff," that shit is whack. We lost a talented artist. Let's not lose any more. Yeah, all right. Was that okay? Did I bring it together okay? Or
Yeah. Everything sounded. I feel what you're saying. I mean, with Tekashi, it's hard because I do want to take everything he said as serious, but I also know that, of course, actions are going to speak louder than words. So when it's a very delicate time, like right now, like the day of everything happening, I hope that he's saying that in the most sincere fashion, and he does follow through with it. I think you're right. Let's focus on doing what we're in this profession to do, which is to make music. All that beef stuff and whatnot, especially when it gets to a level potentially where, you know, you see Takashi going to somebody's hood and calling them out on their block, you know, that, yeah, that
It's funny. It's funny,
but that type of stuff invites violence.
Right.
So like it's a different level of what you want to see happening. Like if you're on wax and you're throwing shots at each other, that's cool. But when you go all the way to another state, to somebody's hood, and you go to their block where they hang out, and you know that it's a gang related area, and you're out there on that block pretty much disrespecting that hood, then you are inviting violence to yourself. So for him to man up and be like, yo, I gotta stop ODing, like, it's great to hear, but let's see how everything goes, you know, in 2-3 weeks from now, when kind of, unfortunately, because it's what happens, everybody moves on and forgets about this passing. But like you said, it's a shame. It's a shame to see somebody that, especially when they're that young. He was 20 years old, man. Like, think about, you know.
Well, look,
think about someone who has a kid
our age, bro,
who just graduated high school.
24.
Think about somebody who's got a kid and they just graduated high school, and like they were on the, think about it, like a normal, not somebody who's like a celebrity or in the music industry or a rapper or nothing like that. Like, you graduate high school, you watch your kid grow up, to watch him graduate high school, and he's 2 years into his college degree and then he's gone.
Yeah.
Like, that's the saddest part. Like, just boom, a whole life wasted.
You know, it's extremely sad. Like I said, Pac and Biggie were our age. They don't seem like they were. I mean, not even our age. They were 24. They were. Well, I won't give your age up. They were 10 years younger than me.
Yeah, I'm the same age. They're 10 years. Yeah,
yo,
they were 10
hold on.
years younger.
Speaking of rap legends, I got a battle rap legend calling in right now. Give me 1 second. Yo, hello.
Yo, what's good, man?
What's up, bro? Welcome to Two Broke Dads. You know, on the phone we have the legend Iron Solomon, battle rap legend BMC co-signed him as the best battler he's ever seen, I believe. And he just had a dope ass battle. Solomon is so cool for you to call in. This is my boy Gooch. He actually helped me launch Battle Rapper Arena. And we put the show together, man. Gooch, this is Solomon, bro.
What's going on, brother? How you doing today, man?
What's good, Gooch, man?
Oh, man, ain't
So
nothing, man.
So you known Jesse for a while.
Yeah. Since high school, man. Like he said, I mean, I helped him build up that show. Unfortunately, I mean, you know how that goes, man. You get people involved in something, and when their intentions aren't pure, things get ugly. And unfortunately, something that he built, which was dope, it kind of just crumbled under the hands of one person, Super Thanos. Came through and snapped the finger and ended all of Battle Rap Arena.
Yeah, I was just going to express my sympathies for having to, live through a friendship with Jesse, because it must be miserable.
No, I was actually going to say the same thing. I was going to say, you think somebody could tolerate me nowadays? They have to know me since 8th grade, so.
Right, yeah, they got to.
Nah, his Twitter is always so sad because it's always like, this guy blocked me. This guy blocked me. I'm like, damn, yo.
They
like
do.
You need to go to some self-help. Twitter self-help.
Yeah, man. Yo, those people be blocking me like no tomorrow, man. Yo, Solomon,
I'm about to block you right now.
Yo, I got a dope line for your next battle. Hello?
Yeah, what up, man? You dropped?
Hello? Yo, Gooch, are we good here?
Yeah, man. It looked like we just had some technical difficulties. You ran out of minutes on your calling card?
That was my first guess, too.
why is it whenever I bring two people together, they always joke on me? Do I just have that personality? Like, yo, this is this person. This. Oh, well, yo, you know the shit about Jesse? Like,
All right, yeah. So yeah, I got a question for Solomon. So, what do you, as a battle rapper, what do you think about Tekashi's antics, as far as the way he attacks other rappers?
I mean, to be honest, I'm not super tuned in with like the way that he's with what he, exactly the way that he's come at other rappers. I think, you know, I wish he moved a little bit differently, just because, I mean, we just lost two people, right? Like real quickly, it can go that way, and I just feel like he acts like he wants to die. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of other stuff that he says that I think is really on point. And Jesse and I were talking about this last night, like just the Breakfast Club interview. Like I usually think that they're really on point, and I just felt like they kind of expected one thing from him, and he sort of held up a mirror, like, yo, like you talking about all this negative shit that I do, but you're not talking about none of the positive shit, or look where I come from and look what the opportunities I made for myself and other people around me. And I think that's amazing. And I think that, like, a lot of times, as the older generation in hip hop, sometimes we get resentful because we're not in that position anymore. And so the inclination is just to be negative and like just try to tear it down, because the fact that younger people like this other new thing that's not what we do, that's not what we like or we consider to be authentic or whatever it is, it makes us feel like alienated and old and shit. But at the same time, like, if we're supposed to be kind of like the gatekeepers of the older, you're supposed to be helping people and teaching them how to move and usher them. You know what I mean?
You say you're supposed to be the gatekeeper for the older generation?
No,
you're
I'm saying
supposed to teach the
like
yours one to the... Well, I'm just...
like, they're supposed to be helping him, you know what I mean? Not just hating on him. And I think that there's a lot of positive shit that he has going on for himself, but then, he's a little flagrant with just the way that he moves, and it's not super necessary, like Texas shit is like, it's just not necessary, you know what I mean? Like there's no benefit to that, you know what I mean? So there's some of that stuff I just feel like is a little extra, but in general, I rock with his like sentiment and just the fact that he's a young kid, you know what I mean, making opportunity for himself, and he does have a lot of positive shit to say, even though it's kind of mixed in with a lot of kind of ignorant seeming stuff, you know what I mean?
You know what's funny? I feel like, and I don't want to take away from the rest in peace to Triple X Tentacion. So you want to talk about that for a second too, Gooch, before I go back to Tekashi with a comment real quick?
No. I definitely agree with everything Solomon said, and that's one of the key things that we were talking about last week, is like how a lot of older people, they like to just shit on the younger generation because they don't consider what they're doing as rap, and there really is no one. There's a few people who are really bridging the gap and trying to take some of these younger dudes under their wing and respect what they're doing while still showing them, the culture that was. Like, I know people jump down this kid's throat because of what he said, but like the guy Lil Xan, who said like he didn't care for Pac or he thought Pac was whack, like,
right,
what he said hitting on our ears is like, yo, that's violation. Like, that's flagrant for you to say Pac is whack. But then you got to think about this kid's only 17. Like, 17 years ago, why was he? He wasn't listening to Pac.
Yeah,
His Pac is like fucking Soldier Boy. You know what I mean? As crazy as that sounds.
100%.
When 50 did the interview, when Soulja Boy did the interview with the big London guy, I forgot his name. Solomon, you know him? The London DJ? Who am I thinking of?
Oh, Tim Westwood?
Yeah.
The white dude, or Semtex? the guy with the like one arm or whatever.
Well, isn't 50% of DJs white dudes anyway? It's like that's where they hide behind being in the hip hop world. No?
That sounds like an accurate statistic.
But I remember Tim Westwood when he had Soulja Boy up there, and he asked, "Who's your favorite old school artist?" And he said 50, because at the time that was an old school artist to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
But you know what bothers me about that Gooch stuff? If you do your homework in the culture, I won't say weird, but I visited for a little bit, sounds in it and stuff. You know, if you're inside the culture, you should do your homework. Like, if I go on a hip hop history show, I'm not going to go up there and say Run DMC's whack, even though it's before my area, because I have to respect for what they did. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you. I think it would have been better for him to say, and I think the way we would have roasted him either way, but I think it would have been smarter for him to say, I didn't listen to Tupac, instead of saying Tupac's whack.
Right.
Because I would have respected that.
I think the thing is this, right? It's like when you think about the way hip hop has evolved, right? And you think about Eric B, Rakim, Kane, KRS, like these are guys that came from an era where there was a separation between street shit and rap shit, and it was like that was the beginning of the rapper has his role in the community, and the drug dealer or the street guy has his role in the community too. And there might be people, you got Cool G Rap who's telling street tales, and you got Rakim, they're rocking the Gucci and the Dapper Dan and shit. So there's crossover, but everybody kind of is playing a role. And then you had rappers starting to be more talking about the street life, street dudes wanting to be rappers, and so there was a bit of a lyricism that was lost because it became more about something different. It became more about a lifestyle than it was about, lyrics, because when you have the separation where it's like, nah, this is a street dude over here, and then there's this dude over here who's grown up around it, but it's his job to be the griot, right? It's his job to tell the story, and so he's really playing that role. And when we lost that separation, I think some of the lyricism went away with it, or at least some of the just the clarity of the roles, you know what I mean? And when you think about these dudes growing up, it's like, what's appealing, you know what I mean? Like Rakim, crazy, like cool, even though he was lyrical. And I think we got to a point in hip hop where there was a separation where it was like, there's cool music and then there's lyrical music, and they're not really the same. You know what I mean? Like, you think about J. Cole or even Nas, Talib Kweli. It's like, it's not fun if you're a teenager. You know what I mean? And like when we were kids, like the shit that was fun to us was people really rapping, but it's also 40s and blunts. It just
Eminem. To be... No, but M kind of broke that cycle.
I'm just saying that there was definitely shit that we grew up on that, I'm an old man now, and I definitely listen to the music, and I'm like,
yeah,
damn,
you're around
bro.
our age, bro. We already heard. You're 36. You said it on the Triller Battle.
yeah, I'm 36.
We're in the same age group. We're in the same age group, and we all have kids.
Yeah, it sounds crazy to me when I listen to music now, and I think about being a kid and them talking about drugs and all this other shit, and the way that they're talking about basically using heroin. And then I just think about how, it's the same way our parents felt about, Redman, how to roll a blunt. He's like telling you how to do drugs. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of parallels there, and I just think that there's, it's an evolution of the culture. There's a disconnect between the generations, and there wasn't somebody there to really guide these kids into a understanding, like, what's the motivation for them to be lyrical? Like, what's the motivation for them to rap like that? Like, you listen to you listen to some of this mumble rap or whatever the fuck it is, and like
that's one thing I can't
they're having
stand.
mad fun.
I cannot stand mumble rap, and it's, you know, I didn't know what the new thing was going to be, but I did not know it was going to be that.
Yeah, I just think that it's like you listen to it and it's like if you're a kid, it sounds much more fun than Talib Kweli. You know what I mean? Like if you want to go to parties and fucking get drunk and bang chicks and you're like 18, 16, 17 years old, like you're not really trying to learn about nothing. You know what I mean? So I think that's the difference there is that it was cool before to be lyrical, and then there's like a gap. There's like a disconnect. You know what I mean?
Well, to give you your props, you're a lyrical genius in my book too. Battle rap wise, and but like I said, DMC even told you you were his favorite battler, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, Gooch,
that's not as meaningful as JesseRican, though. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's two different kind of meanings. Like he did his Christmas in Hollis, Queens, and I did Battle Rap Arenas. I think
there's a hierarchy.
Yeah. What do you think, Gooch? Who's more meaningful, DMC or JesseRican?
I mean, all I can say is I know that Jesse got in the ring a few times, and I think he did his thing a few of those times.
Facts. You see why he's my boy, Solomon?
Now I understand.
Yo, Solomon, what do you think about battle rappers who have ghostwriters? I know we talk about rappers with ghostwriters, but what about battle rappers?
Yeah, I mean, who are we talking about specifically?
Nobody.
Gooch is my ghostwriter. Nah. Gooch has given me a couple lines, but I mean, on a higher anarchy. What if Mook had given Rex a couple lines?
I'm sure he has. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like that's what happens when you're in a crew. I mean, I think like, what is it? Sons. I think they were probably doing the most. They were doing that probably the most out of anybody. But I don't really know. I don't really understand like the crew era in battle rap so much, just because I don't really come from it.
Have you never borrowed a line from somebody?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you're in like a circle of people that you're making music with all the time, and you're bouncing ideas off of each other, that stuff happens organically, and I think that's fine. It's part of the creative process. I think it's different when you have somebody like writing a whole joint for you, or even if it's like you got the group text and it's like, yo, this battle coming up, like everybody send me your ideas, like there's a little, you got to put an asterisk next to it. I mean, I'm a huge Drake fan. I really, really rock with his music. I like what he does. I like a lot of the things that he represents, but you still have to put an asterisk next to his name, and can't really rank him the same way because of the writing stuff. You know what I mean?
What do you think, Gooch?
No, I definitely agree with that a lot. I mean, and I said this, we talked about this during the whole Pusha
T versus Drake. Yeah.
I'm not gonna just ignore Scorpion when it drops. Like, I'm still gonna listen to it because I still consider Drake as someone who makes dope music. But when it comes to writing, and especially with this battle that just that didn't happen, so to say, I'm going to take a lot of what he says with a grain of salt.
Right. Yeah.
Do you believe Jay Prince on my bad, Gooch? Solomon, you're a hip hop head, man, a hip hop historian. Do you believe Jay Prince in the fact that he's the one that held off this?
I believe that he is because I actually was watching Drink Champ podcast with
Yo, I got you on that show. You didn't reply.
What you mean?
I wrote, yo, DJF, and I tweeted him. You should have Iron Solomon on. I tweeted you, and he favored.
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, I try to just ignore all the tweets that I see that with your name attached. That's probably. I think I blocked DJ EFM because he favorited your tweet. I was like, oh, this guy's got bad judgment. You know what I mean? But yeah, I saw Pusha on there, and he was saying that it was Jay Prince that it was like, you know, Pusha's management talking to Jay Prince and, you know, whoever else is on Drake's side. So I do believe that it was that he had something to do with it. I don't believe that there was a career-ending record and, you know, they decided to hold off on it. Like, that doesn't make sense or add up, you know what I mean? And then Jay Prince having a book deal, like having a book coming out at the same time. Like, I think it just all made sense, like, together. It was just a big, like, I think it was a brilliant moment of marketing and strategy, because instead of engaging with Pusha in a back and forth that was, you know, could have gone in a bunch of different ways, now you have Jay Prince, like, who we know who that is, but I don't think that the general, like, average Drake fan understands or knows who that is. And he's now been catapulted into the forefront. He went on a whole, you know, a PR run around his book based more off of him squashing the Drake Pusha beef than what his promo run would have been without his role in that. You know what I mean? So, like, it was definitely a good move. And then at the same time, you know, Jay Prince has a vested interest in Drake. So he's protecting his artist, protecting his investment, and then also creating a launching platform for himself. And then now, because Drake didn't respond, and because we have a reason that Drake didn't, like, Jay Prince is a feared and respected man, right? And so we respect that Drake didn't respond because it was Jay Prince that called the shot. So now people are going to want to hear what he has to say on his album about the Pusha beef, whereas it could have gone super south before the album even came out. Now people who were tuned into the Pusha Drake beef are going to be tuned into Drake's album for the beef part. You know what I mean? Like, people who wouldn't necessarily be like, yo, I want to hear the music on the Drake album, I think are going to have a little more, their ears perked up a little bit more, because they're like, damn, he never responded. And it's not going to be, damn, he never responded, like he bitched up. It's going to be like, damn, you know, Jay Prince is an OG, and he put the kibosh on that. You know what I mean? It's not the same as, like, oh, we ain't never hear from Drake, and I don't know why. Like, he kind of lost that battle by default. It's like a different spin on it. You know what I mean?
So can we label this the one where can we label this Iron Solomon says Jay Prince is a liar?
I'm trying to turn 40 out here, man. I'm not trying to. Don't send me home early, bro.
That got us more attention, more views. Like, yo, look, I'll say this much, and yo, Gooch, my bad. I'm taking over because Gooch is supposed to lead this shit. And,
no, I'm just enjoying it, man. I just want to say this. I agree with everything Solomon just said, but I also want to say that I think it worked out. This whole beef or non-beef, whatever you want to call it, I think it worked out for everyone, because even for Push, I think it brought a lot of people to listen to his album. People who,
definitely.
And this killed me when I heard it, and we kind of went at it during this episode, where there were people saying, like, Pusha T, I hope you enjoy your 15 minutes of fame, which to me was like the most disrespectful comment that I ever read. People talking about how they didn't know who Pusha T was.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of it, with everything that happened with Drake, I started seeing Pusha T at outlets that I didn't see him before. I saw him do a video for GQ. He did like a sit down, like something that I would never think Pusha T would do.
Well, it got him more famous. It did get him more famous. Like, we can't deny it. We can't deny that.
Jesse Gooch was talking, man.
I know this editing this show is the worst because I got to cut out.
You You know what I think would make it easier if you just mute his mic so he thinks he's being recorded, but he's not. And then it would just be like you don't have to edit anything probably.
I know, because then it would still be two broke dads though.
Exactly. It'd just be me and you.
Solomon, thank you for coming on, but I don't think we're gonna need you in the future. Like you were.
It's all good, Jess. It's all good, Jess. But you know what I'm saying, though. I saw Pusha T in places that I didn't think I was gonna see him.
No, 100%. I think it worked out like everybody kind of won. I think the way it got squashed and everything is like probably the ideal scenario for everybody. I agree. I think that's definitely on point assessment.
As a fan, I feel like I still lost, but like you said, I'm gonna be now even more in tune with that Drake album to try to like. It's gonna be like the Da Vinci Code, trying to decipher everything.
Yeah,
said.
Exactly.
Who was he talking about? Oh,
because he's not a slouch, you know. Like I think, like we said, you got to put the asterisk because you don't really know what he is and isn't doing. But I think at the same time, in Drake's defense, like he's not everything he does is just straight up rap. And I think, I mean, I haven't listened to like all the stuff that's supposed to be the like reference tracks or shit that was ghost written for him or whatever. But I think a good amount of it is more like singing than it is like rap. You know what I mean? Because like if you listen to his old mixtapes, it sounds like Little Brother. You know what I mean? It sounds like very almost kind of neo soul, like backpack rap, where he's really just rapping. So I think Drake knows how to rap and knows how to write his own shit, and he knows how to write great songs. You know, he's written for Alicia Keys, and he has huge writing.
I didn't know that. Drake has written for Alicia Keys.
Yeah, what was that song? There's this one song. I'm not even gonna try to sing it because then we know what the title of the interview will be. But there's that one song that was like produced by 40, and it's got Drake on like the ad libs, and he wrote the song for Alicia Keys in the studio with Alicia Keys. But he's done a lot of shit like that. You know what I mean? So he definitely, he's not just like a puppet that don't have no talent, but now you just don't know what what's what, you know what I mean? But I'm sure that on his album is going to be fire for Pusha. He's going to have something for Pusha, you know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. How do you think Drake would fare in a battle rap, or would he never do it? Remember there was that little tease about him and Mook actually battling?
Yeah, and then Nunu told him that he should say Mook's got to battle Surf first, right? That's how it panned out.
Nunu had that much power?
It was right. It was on stage.
So Nunu really backed out Drake of a battle?
Basically, she just gave him a slick, something slick to say that would also help Surf.
Oh, I got you. But Drake still
because he was
to
on stage and everybody was like, yo, or Smack was like, yo, what's up with you versus Mook? And Nunu was like standing right there, and she leaned over and was like, "Yo, say that he's got."
Oh, you got to battle Surf first. I got you.
Exactly. Yeah. He kind of got out of it, and then.
Oh, so you explain. So we end all the rumors. You explain what Nunu does.
Oh man, poor Nunu, man.
She started off on Battle Rap Arena, the live show.
Word.
She went to Hollywood on me though. She gives me the light love.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit?
That's a pattern, right?
What happened?
That's a pattern, right? Everybody goes Hollywood on you eventually, right?
Yeah, you went Hollywood on me for 4 years. But then you saw you weren't selling no records or nothing, so you're like, all right, let me be cool with Jesse.
I'm about to go Hollywood on you again.
I'm just fucking with you, bro.
This is our last phone call. This is our last phone call together.
Nah, don't do that.
Nah, I'm just fucking around.
So at the end of the day, you don't think? So the end of the day, the ghostwriting is not going to affect Drake. Do you think it kills anyone's momentum? And I'm just gonna throw it out there. Like I heard the Jay-Z and Beyonce album drop, and that song Ape Shit, the one that was really up tempo and it had the Migos on the ad libs. 2 days later, the reference track for that dropped, and before we go any deeper, they did not write any of Hov's verse, but Beyonce's entire verse was referenced. I think it was Quavo had spit that originally, and Beyonce just rapped that over that beat. And I don't think it killed her momentum at all, because the very first day the album dropped, my entire Facebook was Beyonce is the best female rapper of all time. And then the reference track dropped and nothing changed at all.
But R&B singers are different than, I mean, writers have been different. R&B writers have been written for years. The Temptations, the day my father died, the 9th of September, if you ever saw the Temptations movie, he actually got offended that he wrote the day his father died. And he was like, oh, but that would add more emotion to you. So R&B R&B writers always get an excuse on that. They have the best voices. There's somebody that
they're putting together like it's a package, it's a product that they're building. You know what I mean? It's like Lexus might be the logo on the grill, but that doesn't mean that the same person who knew how to engineer, power steering is the same one that built the sound system and all that. You know what I mean? I think that's where I think that Drake gets a little bit of a pass, is that like a lot of the stuff that that's come out that was like, oh, he didn't write this. It's really a vibe that makes sense, where it's like, all right, these guys are making pop music, and the way that pop music is made is like a factory. You know what I mean? A lot of different people playing different roles. And I think, like Jesse said, especially with R&B, it's like that's always been the way it is. I mean, I definitely have extra respect for singers that write their own material, but I know that most of them don't. You know what I mean? I don't think Rihanna is writing like almost anything. She might be editing something, or just some singers is just they just don't write. They're a singer. You know what I mean? And then some singers their career as singers don't really materialize, and they end up being writers. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's definitely somebody like Bruno Mars, who was writing songs for years, and before he had a career, even like that song "Crazy." That's Bruno Mars, isn't it? I think Bruno Mars wrote that. Oh no.
Yeah.
Fuck You, the CeeLo song, Fuck You.
Bruno. So, no, he did not. Did he really?
100%. Yeah, it's him. It's him, and the fuck is the name of his production crew? He has a crew called the Smeezingtons, and it's like him and a couple other people that they're like writing and producing, and they've been doing that shit for years before Bruno Mars was like a household name. And they wrote Fuck You, and it's like CeeLo is a rapper and a singer, and he did. I think CeeLo wrote everything on the at least on the first Gnarls Barkley album, and it's like that writing is incredible. You know what I mean? Like as a rapper, to me, that writing is incredible. Like it's incredible songwriting. His pen ain't broken. You know what I mean? But he's took a song from Bruno Mars that Bruno Mars wrote.
Me and Gooch were talking about this the other day. And I said, like, I was openly admitted like a nerd reading the the rap album booklet that I bought. And I remember, you might even remember with me, you were 2 years older than me, so you're probably just as fan as I was. Don Cartagena and Cannabis album dropped on the same day. I don't know if you remember. And my boy had cut class. He said, "Yo, bro, Don Cartagena album was better." I said, "You fucking lying, man." But I went to all my 9 periods like a good kid should do. And then I went home. And I played the Cannabis album, and I was like, all right, I liked it. At first, I liked it. I ain't gonna lie. But it was because of my biased mind. And it's still not that horrible of an album, but I think everybody at the time was expecting the classic. But when I read the booklet and I read Channel Zero, I don't know if anybody still has this booklet. Would you remember this, Solomon? Did you read the booklet? Channel Zero.
I did. I don't.
It doesn't have a G Cannabis on it. and it bothered me because his name is Jermaine Cannabis. Not Jermaine Cannabis, but it doesn't have a Jermaine in his last name. You know, Jermaine Williams, I think his last name is. But it didn't have a J.
So one of the joints. Yeah. I understand.
Yeah. One. You know what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a great song. It was Channel Zero, which actually was a whacker song. But it's kind of the same thing you were talking about. Like, well, his pen is not broken. Why is he not even on this, you know?
Right, yeah. I mean, at the same time, then he also wrote, he was writing for A+ on all of the Lost Boys shit.
Really?
Like, what was it? Yeah, like Beast in the East, or like, you know, the joints that Cannabis, that whole album that's like got a bunch of Cannabis features, and it's got the kid A+ or whatever. I mean, he was a little, you know, he's like a little kid and shit. So, yeah, from what I understand, he basically wrote all of A+'s stuff on the Lost Boys album, you know. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, even Snoop on a Blue Carpet Treatment, I think it was like, yeah, fuck it. I've written all my own shit for years, and like I've never done it this way, so I just decided to like see what's up and like let people write for me. And you know, that's a joint with the sexual seduction or whatever. Like,
but that's a little different that he openly came out and said that. I'm talking about reading the booklet and noticing.
Right, finding out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel you.
So Solomon, how would you feel if you heard a reference track of B Magic spitting Chilla's second round?
So hold on. In this scenario, there's a battle rap booklet, Gooch.
No, I'm just saying, because that's how we're finding out now. With the whole Drake situation, the reference tracks were released, and that's how we found out that okay, Drake's got a ghostwriter. So I'm just saying, flipping it over to battle rap, you know, I agree with what you said though. Like collaboratively, if you're with a group of people and they know you're battling this person, like they're already going to be dissing that guy because he's the adversary of their friend. So I'm sure they're giving you bars. But if you heard a straight up, like almost bar for bar what he said to you, that would be, you know, I don't know how I feel about that battle anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't care about it. Like, you know, I wouldn't be upset because I'd be like, oh damn, like they needed all that. You know what I mean? It's almost like a compliment if I'm on the other side of it. But I think as a fan, I would be like, yeah, you got to kind of take points away. You know what I mean?
He would get an asterisk.
I mean, really. Yeah, big one, definitely. And you know, when you know, back in the day when I was battling, like more, you know, I mean, now I'm actually more active than I have been in years. But when I was like making music and doing all that shit, I had a lot more like just people around me, period, that I was making music with, because that's just the zone I was in every day. I was making music every day, like literally in the studio every day. My crib was the studio, people sleeping over, just always making music. So there's just people around when I was piecing my shit together. And you know, now that's just not the way my life is. And so I'm you know, more independent than ever, like not bouncing my rhymes off nobody. Really, it's just my wife is the only person that really hears my shit before I go, before I step in the ring. And I'm personally, that's kind of just the reality of my life right now. But then it's also like, something that I wanted to do personally was to really isolate myself and be like, you know, just for myself, to push my ability and test my pen. And sometimes, you know, when you have people around you, it can be a crutch, you know, like if you're used to getting the group chat and everybody got ideas for your next battle, then it's going to make you weaker. You know what I mean? It's going to make you weaker. Like if you know, you always got the sliders up and bowling alley, like you just can't lose. It's going to affect your game. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't really care in terms of like, whatever. Everybody kind of arrives at their shit the way that they do. But for me personally, you know, I feel better about myself doing all my own shit and being really strict about that. More strict than ever, you know what I mean?
I feel you.
Being isolated, does that make you want to play solitaire?
Solitaire is a great game. It's a great game. It's good to exercise the mind. I would recommend.
Was that a bad joke? I'm bouncing jokes off here. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. I know you did.
Yo, can we get into a more serious topic if you have time, Solomon, too? And I want to talk to Gooch about this too. Well, Gooch, maybe you could lead us into the whole thing, the Donald Trump situation, the immigrants with the kids and stuff. Can we talk about that for a second?
I think it's
definitely.
I mean, I told you how I felt about it before. It's reckless, and I feel like this person created a problem, and now we're supposed to thank him for solving the problem he created. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, what do you speak more on that? Like, expound on that.
So,
like, what do you think the problem he created is?
Oh, but the pushing through everything with ICE. I mean, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that people should be sneaking into the country illegally. I'm not saying I agree with that, but the crackdown of making it so that when these families were captured, that they were separated from their families. And I know I saw someone put up a meme or something like that on Facebook, and it was like when American families, when an American citizen commits a crime, they get separated from their family. And so when an immigrant commits a crime, they should get separated from their family. And I understand that to an extent, but the difference is, like, if I commit a crime and I get separated from my family, my kids are going to be here in our house with their video games and whatnot. They're not going to be taken to a center with me, and then when we get to the doors, I'm not going to be scooted one direction and they're going to be sent into another direction because, you know, now they're essentially they're criminals too, because what was also happening was they were being tried separately. Every single person in the family was being tried as an individual, so they were all pretty much being locked up in, for the most part, a big jail cell, more like a fenced-in area, and you know you've seen the pictures and whatnot. So then what happened just a few hours ago? I believe the president said, or he wrote one of those. I can't remember the name. One of their magic letters that, you know, it's 100% facts. Executive order.
Executive order.
Executive order saying that moving forward now, they're not going to be separated. But initially, it was his order to separate them, and then everyone bitched about it for a week, and then he put out the order saying, okay, don't separate them. So,
well, Gooch, I mean, not to interrupt you, but that is also a good thing that our voices are being heard so much in his ear that he had to do that. You know what I'm saying? But
I think that's like, to me, is kind of one of the better things that's come out of his presidency is like people unifying and realizing that you can't, you know, no lacking out here, and like we can't really take our foot off the gas with being vocal about stuff. You know what I mean? I think that's, to me, that's one of the positives that's come out of his presidency, is just the like reaction to it and people kind of waking up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think more people are gonna vote than ever in the 2020 election, and more people are paying attention to their local politics as well, because, you know, I understand, like, okay,
right, because they feel like they have power there.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you live in a small area, like, your vote really does mean something. When you're voting for the president, like, I know it's important to vote.
Yeah, it's hard to feel impactful. Yeah,
exactly. So I think more, and I agree with you 100% on that, and I really stand by that. More people are realizing now that they can't be lazy when it comes to politics. Too many people used to be like, well, my vote doesn't matter. Whoever's president, it's not going to change my life, so it doesn't matter. I don't care about it. And now so many people have been affected by the outcome of that election and have vocalized how they felt. And so many people, like you said, have kind of come together, whether for or against what's happening. It's either going to be, in your eyes, what's happening is either positive or negative. But the bigger thing is, everyone is kind of involved now. It used to be like no one
Yeah.
cared, and now everyone cares and everyone is involved.
Yeah.
And my whole thing too is my bad, Solomon. I'll let you speak too. My whole thing is why is this a positive thing for anybody? Seeing kids taken away from their parents and shit is heartbreaking, and how anybody can have compassion for this shit or condone it, I don't understand. Like it's unhuman. You know what I mean? Like you said, Gucci. I think you said it perfectly. If I commit a crime and you take away from my son, at least he still has my parents there. He has his mom there. He still has that family support. Don't bring my son to a freaking jail cell because of shit that I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's horrible. You know, I think it's horrible. Like to me, it just seems like it just all seems like fucking bullshit, bro. Like I just don't. I just feel like we have so many bigger issues that are actually affecting us day to day, and that really the impact of immigrants coming into our country illegally is really not that big. Like the ratio of immigrants that come in that are criminals is the same as natural citizens that are criminals. So like,
great point.
It's the same fucking demographic. People coming into this country are not more criminal than people in this country. That's just a lie. You know what I mean? And then when you think about, I have friends who are illegal immigrants. You know what I mean? And like a lot of them have a fake social security number, and they work and pay taxes, and they don't get the benefits because they can't claim the shit. You know what I mean? So there might be some people that are like benefiting from the system, or they're taking advantage of the system, whatever it is.
But you know what, Solomon? They're probably the hardest workers. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all good. But a lot of them aren't even really, like, they're not like, a lot of people aren't benefiting from the system in that way. It's like a lot of that stuff is made up, and I think a lot of it is it's just emotional. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm an older brother, right? I'm the oldest one in my family. My younger brother is born after me. My parents were less strict with him than they were with me, and so I said, that's not fair, and I fucking bitched about it. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. They just feel, oh, I'm being taken advantage of. These people are getting, opportunity, or, they have it easy, or whatever the fuck people want to like tell themselves. And it's basically just grown ass people saying it's not fair. Like, and the thing is like, if you've ever seen a documentary, or you talk to somebody or understand what it takes to get into this country from Mexico illegally, and the fucking like ways that people have to risk their lives and jeopardize, this is what they're risking, bro. They're risking having their family ripped apart. They're risking dying along the way. People die in, the hull of a boat that was smuggling them, or they die in the bush. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking treacherous. And so, if people are willing to do that, to get to a country that they think is going to represent a better life for themselves, these aren't just like reckless, degenerate criminals. These are people who are living in circumstances that are bad enough that they're willing to risk their freedom and risk their lives to try to improve their circumstances. And improving their circumstances means, like, if they completely succeed, then they live in a country under false pretenses where they still have to be afraid of being deported every single day, which is also a stressed out, fucked up existence. And even that is still more worth it than living in the country that they're in. You're talking about people that are suffering and that are experiencing desperation, and they're doing what they think is their only option to escape that desperation. And to me, when we want to go in the Middle East and take oil, and we want to establish political stronghold or a financial stronghold over there, then we can say, oh my God, Saddam is being so cruel to his people, or we need to go in and save these people. But then you have our fucking neighbors who are basically through their actions telling us, yo, we're going through it over here. we're going through it so bad that we're willing to risk our lives and our family and everything just to have a slightly less fucked up life in America, but we don't have love for these people, right? You know what I'm saying? And then the other piece of it is, like you said, like, we're building camps, we're putting people through the court system. You have to pay judges, you have to pay clerks, you have to pay ICE agents, you have to train them, you have to buy them vehicles, you have to pay for their gas to patrol the borders, you have to pay for the bullets, you have to pay for their uniforms. How much money what's the ICE budget every year? What's the budget of the court system? How much money are we spending to try to stop this quote unquote problem? And how much money are these immigrants even costing us if we just let it rock? Like, I would be very surprised if you just deaded ICE and deaded all the fucking taxpayer money we're spending on trying to quote deal with this problem and just put that money towards something else. This shit's gonna even out. Like, how much money could Mexican immigrants possibly be actually costing Americans that we have to spend even more money to try to, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I guarantee we're spending the same amount of fucking money that we think it's costing us. Like, put that money towards educating people in the Michigan or other states that have lost their main industry, and instead of forcing, you know, Trump's talking about bringing all these companies back to the U.S. when, look, manufacturing is dead in the U.S., bro. Like, it just doesn't happen here anymore. Like, we missed the boat on that. Other countries can do it cheaper. Instead of trying to hold on to a dying thing, it's like the music industry. When the music industry saw pirating and Napster and all that shit, they tried to fight it. But now you see the whole music industry is digital. And if they hadn't tried to fight it and just got ahead of it, then it wouldn't have been this, like, fucked up, oh my God, what do we do? You know, all the labels are downsizing. If you just embrace the future of what's coming, then you're going to be in a better position. And what we're doing as a country industrially is we're trying to hold on to CDs and tapes and vinyl. And that's just not popping no more. So once the digital age hits us, we're just ill prepared. So instead of trying to get Detroit its factory jobs back, we need to educate people in how to build apps for phones. You know what I'm saying? Let's have local farming. So instead of people needing jobs, bullshit factory jobs to get money to buy food, have them grow food in the fucking community. And put all this budget that we're spending on ICE and reallocate it to that, and now nobody's suffering because fucking you think illegal immigrants are coming to this country. Like, it just doesn't seem like a real problem to me. You know what I mean?
Holy shit, bro. Well, first of all, now I see why you're so great in battle rap. Because, Gooch, let me tell you, hold on, I'm going to tell you some shit. Bro, I asked him yesterday, I said, bro, we're going to talk about Trump and the immigration shit. He was like, I know a little bit about it, but yeah, you could, bro, you saying that he did, yo. That was, I was speechless, bro, like.
Nah, it makes
sense, man. It makes sense, you know. Like, I'm not super up on the, like, nitty gritty of it, but to me, I'm somebody that just believes in logic, right? Like, when I was in school, I was saying
that rap, you just killed somebody. I wish I had some a Trump supporter, like
a rebuttal.
I wish I had somebody to
the fucked up thing is, like, I understand why people are angry. Like, I understand from, like, an emotional perspective, right? That, like, you know, you have poor people that are just poor and angry, and they don't have the resources to even understand why they're fucked up in the game. But it's not fucking, you know, black people against white people, Mexicans against, you know, natural citizens. It's rich people against poor people, bro. Like, it's the fucking people like Donald Trump.
It's even more than that. It's even more than rich versus poor, I think.
To me, it's
when
like,
I say
it's
rich,
powerful.
you're talking
it's
about rich
powerful
and
against,
rich.
like, I'm talking like, like, I'm talking like the Koch brothers, like the wealthiest of the wealthy who run the world. You know what I mean? The Russian oligarchs.
But I would say
the
it's
Bush
not
family.
It's the high. I wouldn't even say it's the high class versus the low class or middle class. I think it's the high class versus all of us.
Everybody.
And then
it's 100%, definitely.
and then
it's
also
it's people with legacy wealth. You know what I'm saying? It's the Rockefellers
and also the races. So there is a lot of.
I agree. I think a lot of it is race. But I think a lot of that comes from money too, because like these are people who got rich off the slave trade. I mean, our country industrially is built on free labor. You know what I'm saying? So like, and that's never changed, because if you know about the 13th Amendment and you know when slavery was quote unquote abolished, but it was actually just legalized and moved into the prison system. You know what I mean? Like, if you think economically and industrially, right? It's like you literally think about how many slaves there were, you know, and how that was what got America rich, was the ability of slave owners who were humongously rich people with plantations to be able to produce a product and not pay nobody for it. Like if Nike didn't have to pay nobody, like they'd be making so much more money. So then when you abolish slavery, all of a sudden you're like, you know, we've all worked for companies or you know, run events, whatever it is. If all of a sudden the government comes in and says, oh, by the way, like, you know, your operating costs just went from, you know, $1 million a year to $10 million a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the same people who were paying the politicians campaign fees. You know what I'm saying? They're supporting the campaign, so they're like, look, bro, you can abolish slavery and all that, but we got to make these. But I own these prisons, and so now we're gonna have to find a way for me to make up that extra, you know, $9 million that I was making last year that I'm gonna lose because I have to let go of all this free labor. So what I need you to do is create these local laws that target the same people that can't vote anyway. Black people can't vote anyway. So let's lock these same people up, and we'll make laws about them being able to do labor in the prisons. And not only that, but it's a private prison, so you're paying me to lock these people up. Like when they're like, oh, it costs this much money to lock somebody up, it costs this, it costs that. It's like half the prisons in America that are private. So it's like a company. You know what I'm saying? It's like McDonald's is the prison, and their service is locking human beings up. And so if they keep you in prison if they keep everybody in the jail for an extra month, they make extra bread, bro. Like, it's like a hotel. And they're like, yeah, stay another night. And the taxpayers are paying for that. You know what I mean? So like, if that's what you're making your bread off of, and you run a hotel, you're going to do everything in your power to keep your guests at the hotel as long as possible. You know what I'm saying? And if you're also the same person that's paying for the campaign ads for the politician, you're like, look, I'm going to get you this TV ad, but I need you to have mandatory sentencing around crack, because that's not your voting demographic. You know that's affecting low income, predominantly black communities. So you don't really care about that. And white people are going to like it that you're being hard on the crack epidemic. So let's just lock these people up. I'll get a little bit more bread from my prison. You know what I'm saying?
All right, now I see it. Now I see what you're doing. You're trying to sound so intelligent and stuff, and you're trying to take the second broke dad part away from me, so Gooch be like, oh, I want to fuck with this guy, because you see the potential of the show, and you want to take it away from me. It's all good though.
Yeah.
I see you coming, but
you're close. You're close. I don't want to. I want to take everything away from you, not just the show.
Yeah. That's why I think
everything
you saw
good
me
in your life.
Not my son. Don't take that away from me.
No, you could have your piece of shit son. I'm just saying everything good in your life.
Oh wow, man, that was bad.
Nah, my bad, bro. I wilded out.
Nah, it's all good. Yeah, that hurt a little though. Who the fuck is?
Yeah, my bad, bro. My son ain't shit, dog.
Nah, you're cool. But also, and I'm sorry to cut you off in your rant.
No, I'm ranting.
But you do have this extra love for black people. Like, well, no, I won't say black people. You understand everything. In your second round against Math, you were speaking. You were speaking some stuff about
Supreme
fifth
Mathematics,
percenters, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's fifth percenter.
5% or shit. Yeah.
But 5% believes white people are the devil. Yes or no?
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
So how are you so? I won't say comfortable, but I know hip hop is the genre you're in.
Yeah.
But why the support for something like 5%? Were you just doing that for crowd reaction, or?
Man, that's a great question, bro. I didn't even really think about that. That's a really good question. I mean, I understand.
I think you're trying to say that it's okay because you call my son a piece of shit. So you try to make up for it. But it's okay.
Yeah. No, that's a really good question. I just never thought about it exactly like that because you're right. I was using, my knowledge of a culture and a language that may not like me. But I think this is the thing, right? Like, I think everybody does what they need to survive, and survival isn't just about food and shelter and clothing. It's also, human beings, like, our mind is our most advanced tool that we have in the animal kingdom, right? And so, but that's a gift and a curse because, along with that comes, us being self-aware, questioning our existence, feeling lonely, needing a community, people to believe in the same shit that you believe in. Like when they say misery loves company, it's just human beings love company. You think about fucking,
facts.
You think about the Crusades, and you talk about people that slaughtered people just to try to convince other people to believe in God the way that they believe in God. Like
I was even going to dumb it down even and say, like, if I go to AC.
Right.
And we all talked about that. Like, I went to AC with a group of 4 friends. Yeah. And it's like, I was up, and they're all not hating on me, but they're like, yo, it's so funny because we were like 21. So we all admitted it to each other. They're like, I can't wait till he loses,
Yeah.
Because I want to get out, because you're feeling miserable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you don't want to stick around while you're on your run.
And I think that's a term of, but I've been there too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I feel the misery loves company thing. But go ahead with
it. So I think,
well, actually, Gooch,
yeah, so
can you get in here? Well, can I let Gooch get in here because he is the host of the show? Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree 100% with everything that Solomon's saying. I think it's great to have somebody who is as educated as you are. I mean, I could tell just by the way you carry yourself and the way you speak, but also, and I don't want to say like on the same side, but I feel like your beliefs and your outlook on everything is aligned with the way I feel too. I mean, it's a crazy situation that we're in, and everything that's going on in this world right now in our country, but being informed and staying educated is the key thing. And like, I can tell by, if you want to call it a rant, I don't even want to call it a rant. I just feel like you're speaking from your heart the way you feel about the situation, and that's what makes it so genuine, and that's what makes it so relatable. Like, everything you're saying, I 100% agree with. Like, me and Jesse have these conversations all the time about what's going on in the country, and sometimes we do bump heads on certain things. Like last week, we had a little situation over, he thought the whole Korea thing was
Trump bringing North Korea was a good look on Trump. Yes,
was the greatest thing ever. And my opinion.
I didn't say the greatest thing ever. I said it was a good.
This guy ordered the 12-pack of MAGA hats. He got the limited edition.
He's wearing them like bracelets. Like he's got the snapbacks around his wrist, and then he's rocking one on his head too.
He was super hyped. He was like, "Yeah, man, I definitely think I'm." No, a matter of fact, you said it yourself. You said you're gonna be MAGA for the moment. That's a direct quote from you.
I saw he changed his Twitter name to MAGA-Rican.
He's still fighting a bad. He's fighting a bad Twitter war right now, or somebody who must also have him blocked.
Yeah, the girl's name was JesseRican, and this is the time my show was popping. So I think the reason why I don't have as many followers as I do is because mine is JesseRican1. Because at the time she kept tweeting me, why do you keep having people tweet me? I said, I'm sorry, I'm a little MAGA star over here, and I need you guys to stop tweeting me like that. But Gooch, tell him to. You know what I would like to hear, if Gooch, if you don't mind, tell him the situation you went through with the security gate. If you want to speak on it or not.
Which one are you talking about?
When we were talking about T.I. and stuff.
Oh. Yeah, so I live in well, it's different because my situation wasn't T.I.'s situation, because me personally, I know where I live and I know the people around me, and being who I am, I know that there's a certain way, unfortunately, that I have to act around certain people. Vis-a-vis my community. I live in Florida. I live in a gated community. My community is 95%. 50.
Are you from? You're not from Florida, though, right?
No, I'm from New York. Yeah, no, I'm from New York. I probably spent.
What part of Florida do you live in?
Solomon, now you got to pay attention to detail. He knows me. I'm from New York.
No, you guys went to high school together. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I should have pieced that together. What part of Florida? I lived down there for a year.
Oh, I'm in Port St. Lucie.
Okay. Yeah. I was in like Jewland, like West Palm and Boca Del Rey.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you're not.
I hated it.
That wasn't that far from where I'm at. I'm about an
hour
north of West.
But I understand the vibe. Florida is a weird place.
It's different. It's different when you come from New York. Like I worked in Manhattan for 10 years, and then I moved down here.
Yeah.
Everything just got slow.
So different.
So my situation is, I live in a gated community, and my community is about 90%, 95. I'm not even gonna throw it up. 95%, 50 plus Caucasian, and then there's me.
Right. Yeah.
I'm African American, so it's very different. When I moved down here, things became very different. There's certain things that which I would have thought that I would have encountered in my life, I've never encountered until I moved down here.
Right.
Way,
yep.
People never come out of pocket. There's a few people who have said some things, and unfortunately, you do become what they stereotype you as. I've gone to these meetings, and I've had to become the quote unquote angry black guy at the meeting.
Yep.
People will push your button because they do want to get a reaction and they do want to paint a picture about you. But, so I live in a gated community. So situation with T.I. was he got a little drunk. He came through to his gated community and they would not let him in because he didn't have the right credentials to enter the community. And now whether you want to agree with that or not, like I also live in a gated community, and for the safety of this community, the guards do not let people in unless you have the proper credentials to get in, whether that is your ID showing that you live here, whether that is a guest pass from the resident who owns the property and they're putting you on their guest list, or for the majority, you have a sticker on your vehicle and you go through the owner's
the barcode.
The barcode, click the thing up. So I've gone through that situation where I just recently got a new vehicle, and I had a hiccup with my paperwork, so I didn't have my bill of sale, and I didn't have my proper registration, so they would not give me my sticker, so I had to use the guest entrance for like a week until I got all my paperwork together, and how the guard was treating me was like I didn't really
like so
him.
Different.
He was upset that my ID had an address that was inside this place.
Yep.
Like every time I pulled up, I gave it to him, and and I mean, this is like every time I leave the community. So if I need to just go up the street, to get like a loaf of bread and come right back. That's a 5-minute drive. I gotta go back through that gate, give him my ID, and now
Yeah,
I did
spend
this
10
probably
minutes.
20,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I did it like 20, 30 times, and every time I went through, he asked for my ID and gave me a dirty look. And then one night I was coming back late from work, and I saw a police car come in through the same gate, and then he opened the thing and he went right through. And I said, "Joe, that cop doesn't have to show ID." And he said, "No." And I said, "Does he live in here? Because I know that cop live in here." So I'm like, "Does he live in here?" And he said, "Yeah." So I said, "So why does he not have to show ID, but I got to show ID?" And he said, "Well, because he's in uniform." And I'm like, "What is that supposed to mean?" So if you're in uniform, whether your intentions are positive or negative, you're allowed to just come into my community. And I made a fuss over it because at that point now I felt singled out because I've come to this gate at least 20 times up to that point, and every single time
And
you take my ID.
And the same person is taking your ID.
Yep. And then he lets the cop come in who lives here. It's not like the cop was doing patrol because if you're
Right. Him letting him in is not about him being a cop. Like he might be justifying it that way, but it also has to do. He's letting him in because he lives there and he happens to be in uniform. Also, it's not like the policy is to let cops in if they're in uniform. He's justifying it that way.
Yeah, and I thought it was so flagrant because I'm like, yo, I've been in this gate like 30 times already in the last week.
You know me.
I live here. You don't have to scan my ID. Just open it up because I don't have a sticker yet. It's crazy, man. But, and T.I.
And that's some shit that most white people don't like. That's the thing to me is that like white privilege is subtle sometimes. Like there's definitely stuff that's overt, but then you have people who are poor white people that get angry when they hear that type of terminology because they don't feel privileged, but that experience that you're describing is something that white people on a much broader level don't experience, and black people from all economic like strata experience. Like there are rich black people that experience that type of discrimination. Like you're living in a gated community and you're experiencing that type of discrimination, and like a white person.
Gooch ain't rich. He's broke.
Nah, I'm broke.
That's not. I wasn't pinpointing you as being rich for living in a gated community. I'm just saying that, like, most white people don't get treated that way. There are poor black people that get treated that way all the time. There's middle class black people that get treated that way. There's rich black people that get treated that way. You know what I'm saying? Like every economic group of non-white people gets discriminated against, and like something as simple as, damn, if I don't have the bill of sale for my new car, I'm going to get discriminated against in my own community where I live. Like, if that's the reality that you go out into the world with every fucking day, that's a heavy weight to bear, bro. And like, people don't realize that. There's this article, I forget who the author is, but you guys should check it out. It's called like 50 signs of white privilege or something like that. And it's all subtle shit like that, where it'll be like, it's a list of things that you could say as a white person. Like you could be like, this is a reality of my life, that they're like, most black people can't always say all this as like, this is the way my life is. And it was stuff like, I could go to a community board meeting and disagree with somebody and not have people blame it on my race, that I'm being argumentative. I could go to a bank and apply for a loan, and if I get rejected, I can be pretty sure it's not because of my race. I can send my kid to a good school and expect that there will be other kids that look like him at that school. You know what I'm saying? And
I'll be on. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, good.
I'll be honest too. Like I said my position, my career on this show before. I'm a doorman. When the hurricane happened at Puerto Rico, which directly affected my family, second cousins and stuff that I used to live out there with, for like, well, I'm not live out there with, but I was out there for 6 months. They come over here and stuff. But when you hear that they have to wait 8 hours, well, my family was a little lucky, but still
Right.
they have to deal with no electricity, have to wait 8 hours for water, and that's lucky over there after the hurricane happened.
Right.
And then when Trump comes over there, and instead of saying, "Oh, let me give you guys some money," he talks about how much debt we earn, right?
Right.
That hurt me, and you know, people at my job, where I'm a doorman at this community, are telling me, and they don't tell me directly, but they're talking to each other like, "Oh, how much do we hear about Puerto Rico, man? We could care less shit. We could care less
Right.
about
Yeah,
this."
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when
But
I
if it
felt
was, if it was Jersey or if it was New York,
not even Jersey. But if it was one of their countries, I'll say that much.
Yeah, I feel
You know?
that Puerto Rico thing was crazy, but I will say though, and I don't want to laugh, but that shit when he was like with the paper towel and he was like Kobe. with
Bro,
the
he
paper
threw
towel.
toilet. That was pretty funny though. He did do it.
I didn't even see that. What happened?
He
was
threw
like
toilet
shooting
paper,
shots.
bro.
He was throwing toilet paper, but he was throwing it like back in the day when you have like a milk carton and a lunchroom.
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
trying to hit 3-point shot.
Yeah.
So he was like posting up with the toilet paper. He was like, "Oh, Kobe," and he's throwing the toilet paper at people. I was like, "Damn, this guy is."
But I'm not. Look,
reckless.
I'm just saying, like, the racism does exist in this world.
No, 100%, 100%.
But I do believe that some people do take it too far. Like, I feel like Charlemagne the God is too racist sometimes. That's my own opinion.
Well, against white people?
Yeah, like he had this guy who did the In Living Color book, who obviously respects In Living Color, and he had a relationship with Keenan.
Mm-hmm.
But they wrote the book, and and I don't know. He just comes off when he was talking to him about when he goes off on his white he had Neil Brennan on the show who co-wrote for Dave Chappelle.
Yep.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm the only white person you have on the show." He goes, "Nah, but I tried not to have them on." Like, come on, bro. Like, but it was funny, but I don't think he meant it joking.
Right.
That's my only problem with it. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, "Oh, who is the last white person we have?" "Oh, Melissa McCarthy." So they're just clout chasing with the white people.
Yeah. I mean,
but,
I hear you.
And you being in the community, that shit gotta offend you sometimes, because I'm sure that shit happened to you sometimes.
I mean, me personally, I'm not like, I don't remember the last time I was like offended. I just don't personally. I just choose to not be offended. You know what I mean? Like, I think everybody, when you boil it down, you can understand why someone would feel some way, even if you think it's stupid and you totally disagree with it. Like, if you really look at it, it's like, okay, this kid, goes viral for saying racist shit on the internet, and you're like, fucking piece of shit, whoever it is. But this kid might be a 12-year-old kid that grew up in a all-white town. His parents are racist. The Klan had a presence there. There's nothing in his...
what I mean is, you never felt reverse racism.
Nah, of course.
And I might call you bluff on this one.
Nah, I really,
because I feel like Summer Madness too. Wait, and I'm gonna be honest. This is my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
Summer Madness too. We were a little against you. I swear. And like, you had this whole you know what I mean? I think we have changed.
Of course. No, I mean that obviously the angles were very race and religion, and that hurt me because I just felt like, come on, man, like this. I'm not the one.
Also,
you know what I mean?
can I tell Gooch what happened with that? Do you mind, or should we move on?
I don't want to spend too much time on it. I mean, the thing that frustrated me about it was
the Skittles.
I just feel like I'm not the one, you know what I mean? And that, like, not only that, but now we're taking all this energy of anger and frustration that's real, and instead of channeling it into something real, actually aiming it at the enemy, I might look like the enemy on my skin, but ultimately we're now aiming all this anger inward, like, to somebody that's at least peripherally part of the community. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Those are the things that were kind of upsetting to me. But, you know. And
I apologize for even bringing that up, bro.
No, yo, it's all good. Like I said, man, I just don't get offended because I just understand everything, man. I understand where people are coming from. I understand why people would be angry at white people. Like, I get that, you know what I mean? And so, to me, I just choose to not be offended by anything. And, like, but I always, you know, down to have a conversation about stuff, you know? So of course you're going to feel it. And to me, the thing about the idea of racism is that we very literally try to make it black and white, not just black people, white people, but racist or not racist. And, like, I just don't think that it's the same thing as Democrat and Republican. It's like, it's such a big topic and it's such a soft topic. It's not mathematics. It's a soft science.
But I also think there's such a gray area in between.
That's exactly what I'm saying, is that, like, nobody looks at every single race the exact same way. Like, there's just no universe where that's even possible, that people don't walk down the street.
True.
And I mean, you're going to look at a Puerto Rican chick and be like, ooh, you know, I have in my head what a Puerto Rican girl is like.
Exactly.
And then you're going to look at a black chick and you're going to have in your head what she's like. And then
but even more than that, I will look at an Asian guy and be like, yo, he's good at math. Or I'll look at it.
That's what I'm saying. And so, like, to me, we need to get away from trying to be like, oh, I'm not racist, but he's a racist, and we just need to be like, you know what? Everybody has differing views. Let's try to understand each other more, because, like, everybody has some type of complicated thing with race. We all grew up with cartoons that had fucking racism in them. Like, there's no way that all the different messaging and images in the world don't add up to zero in our brains. And, you know, these people who are like, oh, I don't see color, you know, everybody's equal to me. It's like, there's just a fantasy. Like, that's a nice idea, but it just can't be reality. And so the more that we live in this fake idea of, like, you know, oh, Don Imus made this comment, let's get him fired. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let's get him fired. Now sports broadcasting is not racist again. Like, the fuck out of here, yo. It's not Don Imus. He's an old-ass white man. Of course he's fucking racist. That's most old-ass white men are racist. That's the era that they come from.
Yo, you know what's so funny, too? I have to swallow my tongue on my job sometimes. There's an old white guy. And, he made his remarks about Spanish people. Well,
right.
He was leaving for a week. He said, yo, can you explain to them? Because, you know, next thing they do, he was like, tell them I only trust Victor because I don't, oh, shit, I shouldn't even use the names like that. Gooch, bleep that name out. I shouldn't even tell this dude because he might tell his I can't give him the keys because next thing you know, they'll sell it to their friend. And they. I hate the word they, bro. I'm like,
they, yeah.
You're talking to a fucking Puerto Rican, bro. Like, what do you mean?
Right.
And I understand we're still part of the United States, but yo, Gooch, I don't know if I ever told you that story.
No, you mentioned it to me before.
Yeah, but it was like the most racist thing, man, bro. My bad. Go ahead, Gooch. And
it happens, yo. I mean, but you know what? Like Solomon said, I feel the same way. Like, certain things are gonna irk you, but if you if you're gonna let yourself become offended, then it's just gonna consume you because you know that deep down inside you know who you are and you know what type of person you are. So if someone's trying
No,
to
of
paint a
course,
picture of you
bro. I'm just
that's not
talking
you,
about.
then you just move
I'm
forward.
sorry.
Nah, but I feel you on that. I mean, yo, you know, back in the day, I used to work at a German restaurant, and I didn't know anything about Germany or German people when I first started working there. And I remember this dude, he was like a regular there, and he always used to be like, "Oh, are you from the Black Forest?" Which I just knew that as a big part of Germany, and I knew that's where the dessert
Right.
cake, Black Forest cake, came from. And I would just laugh it off and be like, nah, I was born in Queens. Like, I didn't get his comment. And then one time my boss was there and he made the comment and she heard him. And then she pulled me aside and said, "What did that guy say to you?" And I said, "Oh, he asked me if I was from the Black Forest." And then I seen her face turn red. And then she, like, pulled him outside. She started screaming at him in German. And you know, German is already a very
The
like,
nasty
harsh,
language, bro.
it's a harsh
Yeah.
language as it is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
hearing her scream at him was wild. And then she came over after it was done and she pulled me aside and was like, "If anyone ever says that to you again, come and get me." To this day, I still don't. I'm assuming it was derogatory. I know, obviously, I know it's derogatory,
You never know
but
what it meant.
I never knew what it meant. I'm just assuming it was something against black people. But it's not like
Yeah.
he didn't stop coming there. He just didn't really talk to me. He tipped me better though after that incident.
After
I will
that,
say
yeah.
I will say that though. But I know this is super deep, but I kind of wanted to slide, especially because we have you on the show. I mean, I'm not the biggest, and Jesse will tell you, I'm not the biggest fan of battle rap, but I feel like there was a time a few years ago when battle rap was like huge. Like you saw like Puff and you saw Busta and all these people talking about battle rap,
Mm.
and it's kind of died down. Like, where do you think the state of battle rap is now? Do you think it's back on an incline, or do you think it's kind of steady where it was, or do you think it never kind of fell off?
It's tough to say because like I was out of the loop for a little while, but to me, it's kind of similar to just hip hop in general, where you have it is kind of watered down in that anybody can make music in their crib, anybody can release music on the internet, anybody could put together a league and put it on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't always like that. For a long time, it was Smack DVD and Scribble Jam DVD, and that was how that's a bigger barrier to entry. So you're only going to have X amount of content, and then even once people started doing it on YouTube, for a long time, it's like there's only certain companies and certain brands that were really able to be taken seriously at all. And now you have a million fucking leagues, a million rappers, all this stuff. So the same way that in hip hop you have 1,000, mumble rappers, you have 1,000 battle rappers, a million battle rappers, whatever the fuck it is. But at the same time, you have Kendrick and you have, Schoolboy Q and you have, Drake for if that's your shit. Like, and so even though people might be able to look at stuff and think that it's watered down or that it fell off, I also think some of the best shit ever is happening too, because, we just have people who are crazy with the writing. Like, to me, some of the lyricism and the wordplay, like you could turn on the average battle and some of it might be like generic or boring, or you could tell this person doesn't really know how to rap, like for real rap. But the writing is crazy and the wordplay is crazy, and like, so it's a bit of a mix to me. Like some of the best shit ever is happening, and I think this year, just some of the battles that we already know about that have been announced that are coming up, and some of the ones that I'm hearing about behind the scenes, like it's a lot of really crazy battles that are about to happen. So I think there's kind of a little resurgence going on right now. It seems to me, just more leagues having visibility and Smack branching out, different geographically branching out. Like there's a lot of cool shit going on. I don't know if the like celebrity visibility, like you were talking about, is quite where it was, and maybe that's something that is not could stand to improve. But I feel positive about the state of it, and you still have like Drake has been tweeting about New Jersey twerk and like follows him on Twitter. you know, there's still some stuff like that going on. You know?
I don't think it was the same. This is my own personal opinion. I don't think it was the same it was 4 years ago. I watched you versus Triller yesterday because it was blowing up my timeline. And when I watched it, I was like, holy shit, this is incredible. And like I said, I don't know how you can put words together like that, bro. Like, you're a fucking genius in your own mind. You caught the subliminal diss?
I did, yeah.
I said you're a genius in your own mind, but I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that, though. I didn't mean that.
I know you didn't.
But what I would say though is, and I might be wrong on this, the crowd from like some Menace too and stuff like that. Like, I understand there's new fans, and I don't follow up with like that. And I'm sure the ARB event is going to be around because it's bringing fans like us back who respect you and Mook and stuff who already been announced. I think the new fans don't add up. And correct me if I'm wrong. The new fan base isn't as popular as that fan base during that era.
Yeah, I think, you know, I'm not sure just because I don't really know what the numbers are behind the scenes, but I think that there was kind of like a magic moment for a couple of years when you had, you know, Hitman Holla, Surf, DNA, Conceited, there, you know, Clips, Verb. Like, there's definitely was like a run of a bunch of years where you had people who were stars. You know what I mean? They had the charisma, they had their unique style. You know what I mean? When you think about all those people, you're not thinking about, oh, everybody rapping the same. It's like, it's still coming off of I think part of it is it's coming off of the era of these are rappers who battle, not battle rappers who just battle. And that might be what their career turned into. But when they developed their skill set as rappers, they were coming from their region. They're rapping like someone from St. Louis. They know how to make a song. You know, they dress the way that they dress. Now, people aspire to be battle rappers, so a lot of their style is going to be the same because that's what they want to do. It's not like before, you know, before the internet, you're in Queens and you develop a style and then you go to a battle in Brooklyn and like nobody fucking, you're blowing people's mind because you developed this shit secretly. Like that's the way it used to be.
Yo, Gooch, can you tell him the story about when you were in Pierre Huffers and you guys were spending 50 cent shit? Cali?
Well, that was more so like the way music travels. Like in 01, everything that was all the underground 50, all the mixtapes, that wasn't getting played in California. So I look like the man out there spitting.
They went out to Cali and they acted. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gooch.
No, that's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Because that's exactly how it was, and like we come from that era, and I think that fostered more individuality because now somebody, you know, does a new rap style and it's on the internet and the whole fucking world knows about it, and now there's people in Japan making records in Japanese with the same cadence that came from Atlanta. You know what I mean? And so I think during that era, it was right when Smack was really launching the brand of URL and making it this huge thing. There was a void because there hadn't been grind time fell apart, and then you have Smack, who's like the iconic one, and then you have all these guys that have their own style. They all come from different regions or different parts of New York, and they're on this huge fucking stage, and so you don't have a million different events or a million, like, battles drop every day now. Like, literally a battle drops every day now, whether it's a good one or it's a league that you care about or you know about it. It's a battle drops every day, and that wasn't the situation back then.
Yeah, exactly. But it was. I think it was better back then because now it got exhausting. Holy shit! So now you gotta look out for the good ones. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
but it's a little bit too much. It's too much.
It's too much, but it's cool, bro. I mean, you're one of the legends, so you don't even have to worry about that. I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky to to be in that position for sure.
Yo, Gooch, can you leave that line? Can you say the line left them with ounces? Because I don't want to fuck up people's lyrics. I always fuck up people's lyrics. Slugs weighed about an ounce. I left them with a pound.
That was it.
But can you say the whole line?
Oh, I don't remember the whole. That was the punch on it.
He was something like, "Yo, this dude's a clown. Slugs weighed about an ounce. Left them with a pound."
Clown. I didn't rhyme it with clown though. I know that for sure.
Okay. But yo, Gucci was mad dope, man. Do you think rap
I definitely wrote for a few battle rappers. That's kind of where I was headed when I was asking about ghostwriting for battle.
Word. Yeah. Yeah, that's what's up.
Have you ever wrote for somebody famous, Owen?
I was in the studio with the Trackmasters for a little while when they were working with a bunch of people, but none of the stuff that I wrote ended up coming out. Like they were trying to like, it was when they did Blame It on the Alcohol, Jamie Foxx. Like,
yeah.
It was just mad people in the studio, Frequency, Chris from the Young
so
Guns,
everybody threw in ideas.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And there was a bunch of songs that I produced, a bunch of songs that I wrote that, like, they had hundreds of songs, and, like, most of it, I don't know what happened, really, honestly. Most of it didn't come out. I think they were working with a couple different artists, and some of the deals fell apart. And, Trackmasters have other shit going on, so I think, like, they dropped a couple singles, and then everything else just got kind of canned. So, yeah, I have, and I've written for TV shows and shit like that, but it's something that I'd like to get into more. Yeah, little whatever. I worked on what's that? Drop the Mic. That's on TV now.
Yeah,
I was coaching on that, and I wrote some shit for Nickelodeon years ago. Just little things here and there. You know what I mean?
Were you ever offered a part on Wild 'N Out?
Nah, I wasn't. I wouldn't do it though.
You wouldn't do it?
I wouldn't want. Nah, it's just not really my thing. I'm happy for those guys, and I think it's a dope opportunity if it's right for you. But it's just not right for me.
Now, see, for me, there's people I genuinely, it's not dislike, but I feel like are culture vultures. Because I love battle rap.
You feel that way about that?
Well, I love I think you could sense when I first met you, I was holding your line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that and shit. But
I tried to forget it, but I do remember.
but I was in love with battle rap, bro. And what bothers me is like DJ Vlad doing interviews. Man, I understand you guys have to get your shout out and stuff. But he genuinely asks, I forgot who he asked, if the Hit 'Em Up beef was at the same time as the Jay-Z Nas beef.
Yeah, he's pretty off point sometimes.
To me, that's a culture vulture. I know that's a... Yo, Gooch, what do you think about that, bro?
I never really cared for DJ Vlad. I mean, I watch his interviews sometimes, but I don't watch him anymore. And I will say,
but how about that question though?
I don't know. I don't know who he asked, and I don't remember hearing it, so I can't comment on what I don't know.
Facts.
But nah, I've never been a big fan of DJ Vlad at all, really. I always thought he was kind of a punk. I will say this: I don't know Vlad personally, but years ago, there was a website. It was a forum called rapmullet.com. I used to DJ, and it was like a DJ and MC forum. Definitely big shout out to Dimes and Big Chew. They ran that for many years, and he was on there before he took off with DJVlad.com, and like he was never like a really talented DJ. So what he was able to morph his brand into, considering he wasn't that good of a DJ. He was a personality.
Oh,
so
but
he was like,
he did used to DJ though.
yeah. He used to put out DJ Vlad used to put out mixtapes, but he was more of a personality and he had connections. So he would get, and I know Solomon. I don't know how heavy you were in mixtapes back in that like 2000 era of mixtapes, but like with all the DJs out there, it was a race to who can put the song out first. So his thing wasn't so much
totally.
putting like any skill level into like cultivating a mixtape.
Right.
It was more so
It was just getting the content,
yeah,
which is kind of still his brand, right? It's like content.
Yeah, exactly, and he was able to morph into not being a great DJ into being an okay content creator,
content provider.
Yeah, because he not only did he have
totally.
DJVlad.com, but he owns. I think he took over like nicekicks.com is his now too, and that was a site that I used to go to look at sneakers, and now that's part of his whole DJ Vlad.
His whole thing, totally. I mean, back in the day, Illmaculate had a mixtape hosted by Vlad when he was Vlad the Butcher, and so he definitely, if you think somebody like Illmaculate, there had to be some degree of credibility there, where it was like he, I'm sure, he felt like that was a good look for him, and wouldn't have done it if he felt like he was just a slouch. You know what I mean?
Nah, but definitely back at that time during mixtapes, it was more so about who moved the most units.
Totally.
Whichever DJ that, because the big thing back then for artists, at least what I used to see, was like an artist will put out a project, and they could nowadays artists put out a project and it just goes on the internet and it is what it is. Now this is 2000, so this is still the early time where the internet is still like, it's still growing. Cable modems are coming out, so you're able to get your music uploaded a lot quicker. But an artist will put together a project, and they would then look for a DJ. They would give the DJ whatever, their 12, 13, 14 songs, and say, okay, I want you to host this mixtape and attach your personality to my project.
You never hosted one officially, right, bro?
You're not actually like making a project together. You're just
you're just
packaging
on
it. Yeah.
Yep. Did you ever host one personally, Gooch? Yeah.
Yeah, I hosted a ton of mixtapes for a lot of people on Long Island. I did a few people in Canada. I mean, you got to remember, I kind of fell into a good situation where I was able to get on the radio, so that kind of helped me expand my brand. But it wasn't for me at the end of the day.
Oh, Solomon might know. You ever heard of Negro League? Or they called the League now? You're from our day. They were on Negro League. They were called Negro League. They officially became.
Oh, Negro League, is that?
Yeah, but they became. Yeah. Yo, can we just take Solomon's quotes and say Negro, and say
Yeah, that was
I'm fucking with you, bro. I'm fucking with you.
No, I know that was great.
They were called Negro League.
That's a good example, though. They were people in our neighborhood, and they actually put out projects where K Slay hosted, because I helped them get all the graphics.
You remember their beef with Mobb Deep, bro?
Vaguely, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, they had beef with Mobb Deep. They were on Sign Hype. Go ahead, Gooch.
What up?
Go ahead. Finish what you're saying. I was just saying they had a beef with Mobb Deep. I think Mobb Deep went to the they went to the barber shop and tried to fight Havoc and stuff. Cause Mobb Deep used to live down the block from us. Yeah.
I remember. I think it was Havoc had owned a spot right like 3 or 4 blocks from us. So walking home from school, you see them out there with motorcycles and ATVs.
Yeah. We all went for the well, we didn't go for the autographs because we were like, I sent my sister for the autograph. I said, go get it. Well, go ahead, Gooch.
Nah, it was back then was definitely a dope era in hip hop. During that time, I felt like there was so much going on in that like 1999 to like 2003, 2004. Like those were some of my favorite years as an adult in hip hop, as opposed to like what I listened to as a kid. As an adult,
bro, that wasn't 2003, 2004. That was in the 90s, bro. When Mobb
Well,
Deep lived.
I was referring to. Well, yeah, Mobb Deep was there when we were like sophomores. So that was like 99 to like 2001, right around that time.
Bro, earlier than that, bro. It was like 95, 94. I'm telling you.
I think that's impossible because in '95 I was still in sixth grade and I didn't know you.
It definitely wasn't 99.
Nah, he 3-0'd you. There's no rebuttal. There's no.
All right, but go.
Nah, 3-0 Gooch.
Like, yo, why don't you just do
you
the
don't
math,
even
yo?
exist.
We graduated in 01, and I started kicking with you in 8th grade. So for you to be even aware of that, you're looking at least 97. And that was
See, now that sounds fishy because I feel like there's no way Jesse graduated.
I actually got a associate's degree.
In what?
Liberal arts.
That's good. That's all good. I went to a liberal arts school.
Is there? Oh,
Can't use it for shit, but
I know a story about you that people don't know.
Okay, let's hear it.
Should I say it?
I don't know what it is.
I don't want you to get mad at me.
I'm already mad at you.
About schooling. About in school.
In school?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I have no idea. Yeah, now I'm really interested. Tell it.
Yo, Gooch, should I say it?
Well, I don't know what the buildup is. If it's really that bad, we can just cut it.
You got left back.
Oh, didn't get left back.
In the 10th grade.
Nah, I definitely didn't.
You do not?
Nah, where did you get that from, bro?
You never got left back in the 10th grade.
Nah, I didn't get left back in any grade.
Oh, so I must have got some wrong information.
You definitely did get some wrong information. If I did, I would be okay with that.
I thought you got left back in.
I would share that openly.
Somebody told me you got left back in the 10th grade.
Nah, definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah, yo, but listen, I know we're going on topics right now. I do want to talk about a couple topics before both of you guys get off the phone because I love the conversation I'm having. Charlemagne, which me and you, Gooch, called both. Remember the Kanye West episode? Has got a 6-episode deal for HBO. I love this shit, bro. Charlemagne is my favorite. I won't say favorite because his racism bothers me at times, and the fact that he can't admit to losing to Tekashi 6ix9ine bothers me. But
yeah, I'm a big fan, man. I like him a lot, actually. I've seen him do. He went on Tommy Lauren's show, or he did something with Tommy Lauren, where he was just like, I thought it was just dope and productive that he actually went and had a conversation with her instead of just shitting on her.
Right.
And he's in that movie, the Bodied movie, and he.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm sorry. We didn't talk about this. Hold on. Cut me off.
Yeah.
Gooch.
Yep.
IMDb this. We got to give my boy Solomon a shout out. It's been acknowledged already. He's in a new movie called Body. We'll talk about this right after. It also features Disaster. I think a bunch of battle rappers.
Movie?
Yeah, it's like a small cameo, but I'm in it.
How was it? Like working with Deborah Wilson from Mad TV?
I didn't really have any direct work with her. I was, who was there that day? It was a bunch of battle rappers: Big T, Cali Smooth, Daylight. We was all kicking it, and
you can tell us what your cameo was. Give us an exclusive, bro.
I'm like a fan that's like got like, I'm like a greasy pimp dude that got like a girl on his arm, and like I'm like I like meet up. I'm at the show. I'm at the battle, and like the main like rap dude. I like go up to him and I'm like, yo, you're the fucking man, and like my girl wants to suck your dick. It's kind of terrible. It's kind of terrible.
It sounds hysterical though. Like,
yeah, they said. So somebody said they saw it and that it came off funny. I in the moment it was tough for me to know if it was if it was funny or if I was just terrible. But yeah, it was dope, man. It was dope. It was.
It's coming out in
movie.
theaters or?
No, it's gonna be on
I'm
YouTube
not sure. Right.
What is it, Gooch?
YouTube picked it up. It's gonna come out on YouTube Red.
Yo, now that
That's
gives
dope.
you an extra reason to watch Karate Kid, bro. The Karate.
There you go. And I have music
I'm,
in it too. Actually, I have 2 songs in the movie.
Oh, good for you, bro. I always thought, this is me speaking honestly. When I watch battle rappers and stuff, I'm like, oh, holy shit, who can make it in music? I really thought you could make it in music. I'm not saying you still can, but your Spring Fever, I do love. Like,
oh yeah, you're like the only one.
Well, you know what? I'm not the only one. It's just a joke on you because it didn't pop. You know?
Yeah. No, I love making music, man. I love I produce all my own shit, or co-produced it, and I think I definitely want to come back to making music, but not necessarily with me as the face of it, as the artist. Like, I think I'll come back to it writing and producing for other people because I just love music. I love to make music. I've been writing raps and playing guitar since I was like 9 years old, and it's something that I definitely want to come back to. And when it's you that's the product, it's just a lot more volatile. Like, people don't want to hear. To me, I like everything. Like fucking, I like ignorant trap music. I like underground. I like J. Cole shit. I like everything. And when I'm making music, I want to make everything. So, but people don't want to hear everything from the same person. They want to go to J. Cole for J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? They want to go to Migos for Migos. And so, if as a producer or a writer behind the scenes, you just have a lot more leeway to be able to just be as creative as you want and not have to be like, yo, man, are they gonna want to hear this from me though, or like, it's just like, nah, you just make good shit, and then you can give it to the person that is right for it. You know what I mean? So,
there's a few people that made the exceptions too, like but I always found like the jack of all trades, the master of none.
Yeah, totally, definitely.
Jamie Foxx is a great singer. He had the hit with Kanye West. He had the hit TV show.
Person.
He had the actor. You know what I'm saying? Actually,
what's his name?
We talk
Childish
about this
Gambino.
real quick?
Donald Glover. Donald Glover is a fucking monster.
Bro,
yeah.
He's unstoppable right now.
It's incredible,
his SNL experience had me roll the Kanye place, and I heard he wrote.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
You didn't see the Kanye place?
Nah, I didn't see any of his SNL shit. I used to watch that show Community that he was on, though.
And then he did a show called ATL.
Yeah, I want to see that. I haven't started. I'm supposed to start watching that. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard that shit is really good.
Who's the most talented? I mean, do you put yourself? The review that it did get, Body, it says Hollow and Lux were great actors.
Mm.
Do you see? Well, hold on. Do you see yourself going into any other world? And also on top of that, and Gooch also, who is the best trifecta or four-factor of them all?
Yeah, I would try acting if the timing was right, and I had everything else like kind of situated. Definitely something that I think would be fun. I don't know. Throw out some names. Who do you think is You mean like just in the history of kind of like hip hop music?
No. Well, hello.
Yeah.
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Hands down.
Ice Cube.
The problem what I have with putting Cube on that list, as funny as he is and stuff, he always needs that cold person.
Yeah. I mean, I think in terms of actual
really...
talent, I mean, Will Smith is actually like an amazing actor, like for real. It's not just like. And I think LL and Ice Cube is like. Part of it is like you're like, oh, that's LL, that's Ice Cube. You know what I mean? Will Smith is like, if he never rapped a day in his life and he just was just an actor, he still would be an amazing actor, and you wouldn't need to know that he was famous before to be like to want to watch that person on screen. You know what I mean?
Well, even in rap, this is gonna sound bad too. Even in rapping, Cube needed a group because, okay, one solo album is great. Today Was a Good Day is one of my favorite songs. But from NWA to West Side Connections, you know what he was missing? A group, because he couldn't. All right, so you know what, Gooch? You could label this. Solomon says, "Fuck Jay Prince," and Jesse says,
Ice Cube is music.
Ice Cube is a nice guy.
Just, I think you're not giving Ice Cube enough credit.
What?
Yeah.
Cube?
Yeah, I don't think you're giving him enough credit. I mean, Ice Cube.
But look.
Death Certificate, America's Most Wanted, like, yeah.
All right, so you say something to me about Ice Cube.
With, what's his name, Common.
Common ate him.
But just all that, like, his history, I think you're underestimating the magnitude of what he's.
I'm not. I'm not. You're not. See, because you're not speaking to somebody that's 21.
You're saying they have to be great at hip hop and great at all the other stuff? Because if you think about it, Will Smith isn't the greatest rapper ever, but you're putting him.
No.
But we were all bumping the songs.
Yeah, we were bumping Ice Cube. I mean, Gangsta Rap Made Me Do It, No Vaseline, Friday. I mean, one of my favorite Ice Cube songs, which I guess.
I still listen to Will Smith songs.
My favorite Ice Cube song is the joint he had, We Be Clubbing with DMX. That's like my all-time favorite Ice Cube song.
And who carried that song, Cube or X?
Cube, believe it or not. I mean, DMX did what DMX was expected to do, but for somebody at that time, like an East Coast and West Coast artist putting out something crazy, I think it was with I think Clark Kent produced it. Shit is wild. You can just Google it, look it up. That song is crazy. But I look at Ice Cube as someone who's like, he's done music, he's done acting, and then you have to give him credit. Tomorrow after the draft, it's the second season of the Big Three.
The Big Three?
That's something even bigger than
that's dope. That is dope.
Jumping on
that
a TV
is
show.
dope. I didn't follow the Big Three at all. Did any of you guys? Let's be honest here.
I watched the championship game because I didn't think it was going to even be on that long, and it made it through a whole season. I was like, wow. I mean, I thought the 4-point line was going to be stupid, but not that many people used it. And when they did use it, it was clutch. They weren't just shooting up like from 40 just for no reason.
Solomon, did you ever watch a Big Three game?
Nah, I'm not really up on it.
Did you ever have the Twitter one popping like, yo, did you see that Big Three game from Ice Cube? Or did you guys ever have... Yeah. Or did you guys ever had Are We There Yet popping?
But I like that movie. I like both of those movies.
This is covert hate.
No, he's low key trying to hate on Ice Cube.
This is closet racism.
Yo, you didn't like.
Why I gotta be racist when you know my favorite rapper is Rex, bro? What happened? Armageddon? I love Armageddon.
No, I'm saying you didn't like Are We There Yet? Or Are We Done Yet? You didn't like either of them?
No, bro. You did?
Yeah, I did. I mean, my kids love the movie too, so But I liked it before I even had kids, so
You know what? I like The Greatest Showman. That was dope.
I liked the intro song. That shit was dope.
You mean the ending song?
Nah, the song that comes on the beginning when when he's singing "This is the greatest show," and then that's when I turned it off.
That's at the end.
That's all right. Go watch it tonight. The first 5 minutes when he's having the vision of the circus coming together, he's singing that song. This is the greatest show.
Okay. All right. You might got me on that one. All right. You got that one. But basically, Ice Cube always needs a co-partner. All right. I'll put it to you guys like this. Neil Brennan always needs a Dave Chappelle. As funny as Neil is.
Yeah, but it's not that he always needs it. That's how he came into the game. Like, you're saying that he always needed Dave Chappelle, but he came in with Dave, and that's the only way.
Well, think about his three most famous ones. His three most famous ones is NWA. When he left them, just got interesting. That's it. But he went to West Side Connection.
Whoa.
But he went.
Are you talking about Ice Cube again, or are you talking about Neil Brennan?
Yeah, Ice Cube. He went to West Side Connection. I'm talking about his three most famous moments. When he was with NWA, he left them. Then he got a little credit on this. And then he did a solo album, which was dope. But he also went with West Side Connections, Mac 10 and stuff, which he only had to write one verse for. And also, when he did Friday...
I think the bigger question is, why do you dislike Ice Cube? Because that's what this is. That's what this sounds like. I mean,
I think it's what it boils down to.
There's so many... I'm looking now, because you have me checking now. There's so many dope Ice Cube songs for you to be saying that he needed
when you agree with this? This is what it boils down to? You guys don't see the point I'm making? You guys don't see the point I'm making?
I rarely see the point that you're making.
I don't see any point other than he started in a group, and then he went solo, and then he got back with the group. So you're saying he was only hot when he was with the group, and I don't believe that because he had a ton of great solo songs.
I don't even know where this conversation came from.
Because you're reckless.
That's a fact.
Jesse 6'9". Bro.
Oh, man. That's got to be you.
Jesse 6'9", bro. I think I'm going to change my name to Jesse 6'9".
That's great.
This came because you said, name someone who's your favorite quadfecta, which isn't even a word, because that's when I knew this was going to get reckless when you started making up words. And then you just started bashing Ice Cube. But to reel it back in, if I'm gonna pick someone, it's probably gonna be Will Smith or LL. If I'm really gonna pick someone, but
I just said those two.
I know, but I'm reeling it back in because you're just hating on Ice Cube. And just to throw it in there too, I give a lot of credit to Ice-T as well. I mean, he's been on Law and Order forever, and you gotta think about Cop Killer and Body Count, and then all of a sudden now he's Tutuola on Law and Order for like the last 15 years.
And plays I don't even know how he held on to that part so long. He's the most horrible actor ever.
No, he's the worst cop on the force.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty bad. I still love to see him.
Yeah, it's cool to see him, but he's like, you beat that chick raw, didn't you? It's like, who the fuck talks like that, bro?
Nah, I definitely used to love Law and Order and Ice Cube, but my favorite character, believe it or not, was Munch.
I like Munch. My favorite character, I have to go with the stereotypical
Stabler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna pick him because you're a fan of Oz, and that's what you do. You're on the bandwagon. That's why you're a big fan of Tekashi.
Jesse 6'9", bro. Call me. Yo, Solomon, when you tweet this, right? Tekashi, Jesse 6'9".
He's not gonna be able to tweet you because he's gonna block you. You can't tell people you're blocked.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me whatever the new name is, and just so I can block it as quick as possible.
Any other you guys never even asked the Charlemagne. See how you guys do? You guys never even answered Charlemagne's new HBO shows.
You didn't make a question. You
What
made
you
a
mean?
statement.
Yeah.
But I said, what do you guys think about Charlemagne's new HBO deal?
Oh, I think it's dope. Salute to Charlemagne. Congratulations. But like I said, I told you that was going to happen from the day he did the interview. I said he's going to be bigger than this interview, and he's going to be bigger than the Breakfast Club. So definitely shout out to Charlemagne. And shout out to DC Zamero. You know, they're finishing up their Viceland show this month, and then next year they're going to have a nightly show on Showtime.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
Premium cable for everybody.
Damn, bro. Yo, Solomon.
Yeah.
Let's do a show, bro. Come on. What's good, man? Come on. Come on.
That's not what we're doing right now?
Come on, weekly, bro. Let's pick up an HBO show.
I can't hear your voice that much on my phone.
I said let's pick up an HBO show. Nah, what if you went on Charlemagne on Breakfast Club? This is a serious question. What if you went on Breakfast Club and Charlemagne kind of tried to herb you the way he does guests? Like what if he treated you like Post Malone?
What did he do to Post Malone?
He just kind of heard them. Made them think that he's not.
Post Malone kind of has it coming, you know?
You think so?
He's a little bit funny, style.
Yeah, and at the time Post Malone went in there, he had just finished making a comment about how he doesn't consider himself a rapper. So after
he doesn't consider himself a rapper. He said, I mean, his music is obviously fucking rap music. Like if it's not exactly rap, it's whatever rap has evolved into. Like the closest relative to his music is rap music. Even if his music isn't rap music, the closest relative is. And he also said the comment about, if you want to look for, deep emotional content, like don't look to rap music expecting to find deep emotional content. And
that's what it was.
Yeah, I mean all that.
Oh,
stuff
that's crazy! I didn't know he said that. That's crazy.
So
was
Charlemagne bullying him, or was he just was he looking for
calling it out? Yeah.
Well, y'all know how Charlemagne. I look at Charlemagne as a. I love
You're calling
Charlemagne.
him a bully, but all he did was
listen. Can I explain something
that he made? And it seems like the thing. I think you're going to explain another example where we're going to have cold hard facts to back up our point. But go for it.
Even with David Penner, right? With In Living Color, and he's like, it's just how he jokes on white people like that. He's like, oh, I didn't know you were joking with me. He's like, no, I'm not. Like, he wanted to snuff him. Like, it was kind of corny to me. Like, he comes off as racist at times to me. I love Charlotte. I think he's, you know what? He's the opposite of Howard Stern. Because I love Howard Stern.
Do you think if Charlemagne was really that racist, he would do a show with his white co-host every week?
But he's.
I'm just asking if he was really as racist as you think he is.
It's not that he's. Well, Howard Stern does a well, I'll say this: as long as they're under him, I feel like that's a perfect question. If Andrew Schultz ever became bigger than him, I think he will feel a certain type of way about it. And it's Howard Stern and Robin. Howard Stern, as great as the interviewer Howard Stern is, if you listen to some of the shows, he's straight racist. And you guys remember this, Solomon? You're with me, right?
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Like, so yes, I do believe if Schultz became bigger than him, there will be a little racism come out. Sir, you know what I was listening to the other day? Not the other day, like 3 months ago. I ain't gonna lie. The NWA movie and stuff. I watched it again. So I put on YouTube Easy E. One of the things that popped up was Howard Stern because I love Howard Stern interviews. So it was one of my favorites. And he was, oh, I love having Easy here because I got to call a black person a nigga. And I said, nigga this, nigga that, nigga that. And now we're talking about one of the most successful people, $500 million. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's racism in both of them. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I mean, I haven't seen the specific stuff you're talking about with Charlemagne to like really speak to it. I think he's speaking from his perspective, and like, I hear him say like white devil and stuff. I think a lot of that is like, some of it is like he's kind of joking, and then some of it is just it's a way for him to voice his perspective. You know what I mean? And it's like he comes from an experience where he might feel negatively about white people, or just want to speak out, or
okay. For instance, and Gooch, you even answer on this because this pertains to you also. Like Michael B. Jordan came on the show and he was talking about how Michael B. Jordan just wanted he didn't want to talk about white girls because he wanted to marry a white girl. All right, now I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna let you guys talk now. I'm gonna let Solomon finish the statement. But no, but I'm saying, because Gooch, actually, how you feel about that first?
About what?
You didn't hear what I just said?
I heard part of it, but
that they had Michael B. Jordan on the show, and Charlamagne said, "Oh, you like white girls and stuff." He was looking at it in a negative light.
I didn't see that interview, so I'd have to see the context and how he asked it, or if he just said, "Oh, do you like white girls?" or if he said it in like, "Oh, you like white girls, you don't like black girls." So I'd have to watch the interview to really see. But not that it matters.
Same.
It doesn't matter whether he does or not, and whatever Charlemagne is saying is not going to change who he's dating. Charlemagne's not gonna ask him that. He's gonna walk out and be like, "Oh, sorry, Charlemagne, and we're over." So I don't know. I think you're going downhill with this Charlemagne racist thing.
No, look. You know,
we can put a pin in it, and then you can get your rebuttals together, and then next time we'll talk about it.
I'll let Solomon finish what he's saying. But my whole point is that Charlemagne, as much as I love Charlemagne, because he comes off racist sometimes. That's all. That's my whole point.
I feel you, but there's you know what though, in that same breath, you can say that about a ton of people. In news media. So just because you personally like that one, I feel what you're saying. So personally, maybe it affects the way you like them. But there's a ton of people who come out crazy. Like we brought up Tommy Lauren. Like,
well, look,
I understand her, but yeah, sometimes she comes off as super racist. Like one of her talking points about Jay-Z and Colin Kaepernick sounded extremely racist. But you know what? She has her platform and she uses it to connect with well, she doesn't have that platform anymore, so she fucked that up somehow. But.
Well, I won't even say racism or favoritism. But I will say favoritism. Yo, Solomon, you there?
Yeah.
I even if you go watch Solomon versus Math, and this is my words, not yours, Solomon, at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, don't get mad at me for this. But even if you watch Solomon versus Math, which is my favorite battle of all time, it gets cut off at 2 minutes. Because in my opinion, a white boy is cooking Math's ass. That was my own opinion. Now, maybe it was more than that and it was favoritism. But, you know, that's some racism, I feel.
I mean, you know, there's a lot going on at that time, too, you know? Like, they also had their back and forth with Fight Club, and I was coming off being Fight Club champion, and Math was, like, the face of Smack at the time, you know what I mean? So, who the fuck knows?
But Gooch, are you open to that?
I didn't see it, so you're putting me in a position where you want me to answer something that I can't speak on because I wasn't there and I didn't watch it.
No, of course. But I'm just saying, you're talking about racism. I'm talking about racism that happened to a guest on us, and that's.
I don't know. Like I can't speak on it. I didn't see the battle, so I didn't know that it got cut off early. But I mean, shit. I don't know, man. The Heat, they beat up the Mavericks, so they don't turn it off. You know, at the end of the first quarter, just because it's black guys beating up on white guys.
Are you guys invested?
Yeah, I don't know what your overarching point is, though, Jesse. Is it that there's racism against white people in the world too?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think he's like I gotta make Solomon feel like white people are the people are racist against white people
victims.
too, so let me. Yeah,
trying
exactly.
to empathize.
He wants to make sure you feel. He wants you to feel comfortable.
Yeah. You want to empathize with my white victimhood?
I ain't gonna lie. That's what went through my mind.
I think white people we've had a long enough run. We don't need too much more empathy.
You don't need my help. You're rejecting.
Nah, we're good. You gotta get electricity for your family. Don't worry about people.
That's like the Chris Rock skit. Like, no, I'm good, bro. See how racist that was? He said, I need to get electricity from my crib.
Yeah.
This electricity running, bro.
No, but you said the rest of your family in Puerto Rico doesn't have electricity, and you're worried about my plight as a white man. I'm in the most privileged category that there is. Don't worry about me.
Don't turn that shit back on me, bro.
Yo, man, it's been a pleasure, Solomon. Definitely appreciate you coming on the show, man. It was definitely dope. I mean, I know Jesse can be a little messy, but we definitely appreciate having you here tonight.
JesseRican.
For real.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. Yeah.
We definitely gonna do it again, man. So, yo, it is we're gonna do it this way. We're gonna say it's Three Broke Dads, episode 8. It's the Ocho, and when I say we are three broke dads, I do not mean we are broke, but we are definitely broke, which means we are too broke to let you hold something. So please do not ask. It is 2018, and you need to get a job. We out.